Hey, Cougar Nation, welcome to Wise Guys on this Monday. There's just one more Monday after this before the start of the college football season. Welcome to the Wise Guys. I'm Dave McCann with Blaine Fowler. The world is our audience. That should be our new catchphrase.
That's
the
right.
world is our audience.
I always look on the chat to see who's the first place in, and today it's Michael Zimmerman checking in from Beaumont, Texas.
All right.
So Beaumont, Texas is first in the house tonight, and then Christian Argyle right on Michael Zimmerman's heels, saying it's Bachmeier season in sunny Orem, Utah. It's sunny and hot in Orem. And Brandon Christensen saying Boise, Idaho, checking in. So yeah, it's a lot. So
Wise Guys, the largest
all over the world
BYU Sports live stream show in the world. How about the Jerusalem Center? Yeah, there's our first one from the Middle East. Randall is in from the Jerusalem Center.
Oh, goodness. There we go.
Good job. Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus, Eddie, and Mountain America Credit Union. Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. And with that said, Columbia, Maryland checks in. Hey, David, good to have you on the stream. Let's go. There's North Carolina. All right.
Covina, California. Yeah, North Carolina. Harriman. Hey, we love everyone here in the state of Utah, too. Salt Lake City's in the house with Mark Sanders. Columbia, Maryland with David Woodruff. Pensacola. I'm assuming that's down in Pensacola, Florida, Nick.
There's England.
Lincoln in England. There you go. All right, Alan LeBaron. We love it. Stansbury's in the house. We had some good players coming out of Stansbury. So yeah, he says his son loved my advice for P-Day and the home MTC. And he says he works with Dr. Douglas, John Douglas out in Tooele. That's pretty awesome. I love John Douglas.
That is good.
But yeah, because remember, I am the safety guy. And so I try to give safety tips to our missionaries if missionaries are listening to this show, I feel like I have to give some type of a P-Day safety tip.
Safety first. It's always safety first.
Hey, I want to remind everybody to subscribe to our free email at wiseguys.com. Dave and I subscribe to it ourselves so we can get updates and all that comes to us. You can also watch all of our past content when you go to the website at wiseguys.com. And we'd love for you to hit the subscribe button on your YouTube channel. If you're with us on YouTube tonight, that helps sustain the show, and we'd love for you to do that.
So we're going to challenge you. Last week we put up our viewer map, and when we took it back in the lab, we're working on it. It's going to be awesome. But we want to challenge you to let everybody know on the stream where you're at as you take in Wise Guys. Last week, for example, we had Bangkok, Thailand. We had Singapore, Tanzania, England again tonight, but a different location in England, Perth, Australia, and then all over North America, United States, and up into Canada. So we are eager to see where everybody is tonight. We know you're pumped for football because it's right here. There are games this weekend, and then the Cougars play next weekend, which is awesome. We've been counting this thing down since the Alamo Bowl ended.
Yeah.
And here we are. So Wise Guys is presented by Brady Plus. Brady Plus provides cleaning, food service, and packaging equipment, dispensers, and service and repairs with over 150 distribution facilities across the country. They employ over 6,000 people. And you can learn more about Brady at bradyplus.com.
Mountain America Credit Union, helping people achieve their financial dreams for over 80 years. Whether you're buying a home, planning for retirement, or managing daily expenses, Mountain America has the tools, technology, and guidance to help you succeed. There's a lot of information waiting for you at macu.com. We're glad to have them.
Absolutely. And Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. Whether you run a dental office in Spanish Fork, Utah, or a construction crew in Lehigh, Eddie helps you hire, onboard, track time, and run payroll all in one place. Simple, local, reliable, built by business owners who believe people come first. See how Eddie can serve your team at eddy.com.
And a new feature to the show is our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week, presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com, and we'll introduce our Athlete of the Week here in just a little bit.
So
pretty amazing, by the way, this week.
Clint's in from Westlake Village on the Days of 47 train. Who wears number 47? That's the train he's on. That's Bear Bachmeier.
Yep.
There's been all kinds of fun Bear stuff on social media since that movement really kind of kicked into high gear. And we're going to talk about it tonight. A freshman quarterback, the latest on the situation. We'll get some insights from former BYU quarterback, former BYU quarterback's coach, former BYU offensive coordinator, Brandon Doman. He's an expert in all three areas, and so we're going to have a great conversation with him about what could very well be a true freshman taking the snaps a week from Saturday.
Yeah, and BYU is less than 2 weeks away from that kickoff. A third season as the member of the Big 12. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It seems like we were on this show talking about them going to be in the Big 12 and what this was going to be like. And now third season, Hall of Fame tight end Chad Lewis is going to join us tonight with what he expects this season. And, you know, as you know, Chad just moved into associate athletic director role where he's over development for BYU athletics. So he'll fill us in on all things BYU, but most importantly, we're going to talk to him a little bit about the tight end position, what he thinks of Carson Ryan. So that's going to be fun.
What we love about our guests tonight, and most all our guests are this way, but Brandon and Chad tell you exactly what they feel and how they see things. And so, you know, it's going to be an awesome conversation, and we'll take your questions too as these guys come on with us. BYU is prepping for a mega soccer match later this week against 8th-ranked UCLA. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, last time UCLA came into Provo, #1 in the nation, BYU sent them home with a loss.
That's right. And the Cougs just won at Minnesota, and the Gophers were ranked 24th.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. A road win against a ranked opponent. And we're going to announce the Re-Lyte athlete of the week, as mentioned. And she's from women's volleyball. We'll just give you that little tease.
That's a teaser. All right, let's talk about the ultimate football teaser, the quarterback. Bear Bachmeier, as Aaron Roderick made known all last week. He got all the snaps with the first team. And maybe it was a test that, hey, let's see how you can do it. And he did it. And everybody who was at the scrimmage on Saturday said he looked pretty good. And that appears to be full steam ahead.
Yeah, and I think Aaron's methodology on this, and I like what he's doing. He didn't say, hey, it's Bear's job. He said, okay, you know what? He has played well enough now where he's playing even with the other guys, or a little better in some areas than the others, with such fewer practices or days in the system. When you consider the other guys have been here a year and a half, and he's just been here, like 13 practices now. He thought it was time to put him in that #1 spot, or at least not in the #1 spot, but give him #1 reps, put additional pressure on him, talk to him about the fact that, okay, seems like you're competing. Let's put you with the ones, and you're going to go against the 1D, and now let's see how you do. And you're either going to shine, and you can win this job, or you're going to throw 10 picks this week and you're going to lose the job. And so he put him in I think a really good mental pressure situation to see if he would hold up. And for the most part, he did. He looked pretty dang good all week long. He didn't all of a sudden have a rash of turnovers, from what we're hearing from the coaches and that he played pretty solid. So I think he passed the test. Now, keep in mind, this year is a little different, and we talked about this last week, and I talked to A-Rod about this last week. We've had some years where if we had this show, you'd be saying to me, hey, Blaine, why haven't they decided on the quarterback? And I would try to be political and say, well, they just haven't. If I was going to be honest, I would say, we're terrible. We don't have anybody. Yeah. Nobody stepped up. We got 3 guys competing for the job, and I'm not sure any one of the 3 can play. And those seasons, we haven't been great. The difference between that and this year is, A-Rod's saying, you know what? We actually have not just 3, and we mentioned last week, 4 guys that they are confident could win a bunch of games in the Big 12 this year competing for the job. And they're all playing well. McKay's been playing well. Trayson's been playing well. And then I don't even know. I got to make sure. I need to go talk to him and find out. I think it's Geilman is how you say his last name. But he's the freshman, true freshman from Bountiful that leaves on a mission in January. He's been phenomenal. So there's 4 very good quarterbacks in the system. So you don't have to worry oh, man, if we decide to go with Bear and all of a sudden he falls off a cliff, then are we in big trouble because they feel like multiple guys can play. But Bear, I think from what I can gather, had a very good week under the pressure of let's see if you can do this.
I think a lot of people thought today there'd be an announcement that he's the starting quarterback. The next media availability is tomorrow. So at least the questions will come tomorrow. And I would imagine if it is still full steam ahead, that at some point they're going to go, yeah, Yeah, that's where we're trending. Even if they don't say, and it's to no advantage to come out and say the freshman's your quarterback. The team already knows if he is or if he isn't. But there's no reason to give Stanford an extra week of prep before their game on September 6th.
Right.
But at the same time, if it is him and we think it is, then you just say it and go. Full steam ahead.
Here's what I think. It doesn't really matter that much. None of these guys have played enough snaps at BYU for that to kind of tip BYU's hand on what they're going to do offensively. You think if all of a sudden they say, guess what, tomorrow it's Bear, that now Portland State and Stanford go, oh, good, now we're going to have some extra weeks of preparation because now we can scout Bear Bachmeier. It's going to do him no good to go back and look at his high school film when he's not running an offense anywhere remotely close to what BYU does. So there's no advantage there. McKay Hillstead played up at Utah State. You can look at a few tendencies. Trayson played in Michigan. But it is not a big advantage to not make the announcement this year, I don't think.
Right. And the only advantage Stanford would have is, hey, he was actually in all of our spring practices.
That's true.
So they would at least know a little of it.
But you want to know what?
They'd know more than most.
They don't play Stanford until week 2.
Right.
But remember, a bunch of that coaching staff's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But
there's no real advantage.
If we're going to do like all kinds of Bear stuff, we got to do some Tiger stuff too.
Yeah.
Because his brother Tiger's also here.
And then we need some Cougar stuff
some Cougar stuff.
The younger brother. The Mackeys are in from Montana. Kent is on from Kansas. Rick in Farber, Missouri, and Weston in from Nebraska. How about Spain is in the house? Taylor coming in.
Where in Spain is Taylor?
It looks like
does it say the town?
Malaforza. I'm just looking on the stream here. Look real close.
It's going to have to go up because that little.
You can't see that one?
That's right below my ability to see.
What?
Oh, he's in Mallorca.
Mallorca.
Well, you're in Mallorca. You must be on vacation because nobody actually lives in Mallorca other than Rafa. Rafa Nadal is from Mallorca. Has one of the most beautiful cathedrals I've ever seen. Right
that might
there,
be our first Spaniard.
But Mallorca is an island in the Balearic Islands, south of Spain, part of Spain. In one of literally the most beautiful places in the world. And summertime is the time to be there. So congratulations.
Maybe he's on a cruise ship.
Taylor, we wish we were with you in Mallorca.
Yeah, all right. We're spanning the globe tonight as always. Monday night is Wise Guys night. All around Cougar Nation. So keep them coming, and we'll keep giving you the shout-outs as we move along. By the way, ESPN's updated Football Power Index. Now, remember they had the one in the spring that had BYU around 13 or so?
Yeah.
Their updated one heading into the season, there will be no more updates until the season starts, is number 22. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that seems really fair.
Why not?
Yeah. That seems very fair to me.
Young quarterback or a quarterback other than Jake Retzlaff at 22.
I can't remember who was it, CBS that had him like in the 40s?
Yeah, something like that.
I was like, that's a little bit too much of a reaction to the quarterback leaving. I think 22 to 25 is very fair. 26, the AP poll had him. I think that's very fair.
Robert from Vicksburg, Mississippi. Joseph from Waterloo, Iowa. On the stream with us tonight. That's cool.
Good stuff.
And here's Joel talking about Gavin here.
He's an excellent surfer. Great time with Gavin and the crew up on Jordanelle last week.
He was surfing at Jordanelle?
Well, you know how you do if you have a surf-type boat that creates a little wake? You hold on to the rope, and then you kind of get going, and you get on that wake, and you surf behind a boat. So,
okay.
Gavin's not a bad surfer like on the ocean either. Like most of our kids surf. I don't know how you grow up in Utah and learn how to surf, but that tells you we've taken way too many vacations to Hawaii.
You have had a lot of vacations. All right, college football Saturday. Here's the lineup with opponents that have something to do with BYU. Iowa State, they're number 22. They play number 17 Kansas State, 10 o'clock on ESPN in Dublin, Ireland. And the Cougars don't play Kansas State in the regular season. They do play at Iowa State on October 25th. This is a game that has conference championship implications right out of the gate in August. It's going to be awesome. 2
ranked teams from the Big 12 in a conference game in the opener. There's a lot on the line there. I love that. So we'll be tuning in for that. It's in Dublin on ESPN, so it's 10 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Right. So that'll be fun. I guess, let's see, Dublin would be 7 hours ahead of us. So it's a 7 p.m. kick there in Dublin. How about Portland State? We want to keep an eye on Portland State because they're BYU's opening week opponent the following week. They're at Tarleton State. And you know what? That one's on TV. It's 2:30 p.m. on ESPN2, 2:30 Mountain.
How about that?
And then, of course, the very next week, they'll come into Provo.
We can scout that one out,
yeah.
And see what Portland State has got going on. Ben is on the stream from Cary, Idaho. There's Bill and Brenda from Wells, Wyoming. And Dan is in from Layton, Utah. Good to have you guys with us. Also on Saturday, Fresno State is at Kansas. That's at 4:30 on Fox. BYU doesn't play Kansas in the regular season, but it's a Big 12 team, so we put that one on the list. And there's Sylvia from Wisconsin, again, and then San Antonio, Texas with Adam. So we're just dotting the states.
Is that your old mission stomping ground, San Antonio?
Yeah, San Antonio, Texas. Chandler, Arizona. Doug, good to see you on the stream tonight.
Joel Harris asked if the coaching staff released officially that Bear's QB1. No, they haven't. And we haven't said that he is.
No.
We just said he's tracking that way because of the way they're working reps.
Yeah. And we expect him to be at this point.
Well, and it's with the comments that Kalani's been making in post-practice interviews and A-Rod's been making, they've been saying, hey, this freshman's looking really, really good. And I don't remember if it was A-Rod or Kalani last week said, yeah, we gave him one reps all week to see if he'd hold up. And he did well. So they haven't said it's him, but it's trending that way, right?
Yeah. If it wasn't him, they would have done some things differently in that scrimmage on Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, Stanford, by the way, on Saturday night, they play at Hawaii, 5:30 on CBS. Stanford's, of course, at BYU on September 6th, so you can scout out the Cardinal on Saturday night.
Be really interesting to see what they run. This is now a Frank Reich coach team, former NFL QB, and he says he's going to bring a balanced NFL type of offense to Stanford. So it'll be really good to scout those guys out. And then next Thursday, East Carolina is at North Carolina State. And we'll want to tune into that because BYU is going to travel to East Carolina in their preseason schedule this year. They played there on September 21st.
Hey, Bill and Brenda from West Virginia, not Wyoming. My apologies. I saw I thought it was WY. I think it's WV. So West Virginia. Not necessarily Wyoming.
There's nothing wrong with Wyoming.
No, nothing wrong with Wyoming.
There's nothing wrong with West Virginia.
But it's awesome having you on the stream in West Virginia. It's just another state back east that's checking in tonight.
And Jet Thompson's there from Puget Sound. So is that, are you all the way down in Olympia? Are you up in Seattle? Are you out in the islands? You're in Bainbridge Island. Like, where are you in Puget Sound, Jet? We want to know.
Let's see. There's Jordan from Greenville, North Carolina, taking a break from Hurricane Aaron surf for some wise guys. Hey, Jordan, that sounds like a safety move.
Yeah, nice job. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. When you have a hurricane, you go indoors. There you go.
All right, let's talk about opening night for BYU on August 30th. Game day on BYU TV with Blaine, myself, David Nixon, Austin Cawley, Brian Logan, and Spencer Linton. We'll start that first hour out at Cougar Canyon with all the fans and the Cougar Walk coming by and the band, and there's quite the buzz there. And then after the first hour, as we do, we'll go into the stadium, into our studio there, which is perfectly placed with the warm-ups behind us, and we'll show you the exclusive warm-ups as we get ready for the first kick. As I say that, Mark is in from Waikiki. Hey, no waves here.
No waves in Waikiki?
He must be on one of those beaches that just glides.
Usually summertime's the time that down in Waikiki you get a nice little roll where you can get a big longboard and just kind of, and in the summer up on the north it's a lot flatter than, it's not the big North Shore until you get to the winter. Yeah. Right,
Mark? I recommend you order yourself a Virgin Lava Flow.
Yeah.
And just charge it to Blaine and drink it up.
If you go over to the Outrigger and just say put it on Blaine's tab, they'll know what you're talking about.
But don't mention Thor. If you'll have some people following you if you mention Thor.
If you say Thor Salanoa is my friend, you're going to have Thor will check you out while he's over there.
Yeah. You'll be safe, but you'll be under Thor's domain. BYU Portland State, 6 o'clock Mountain Time on ESPN Plus. Cougars are favored by 5 touchdowns. Is that too many?
No.
That's a lot.
They should beat them by 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree.
This is you're not playing a Power 4 team, and it's a team that's in a little bit of a rebuild this year. So you should win by 5 touchdowns. And Kalani typically doesn't put his foot on the gas, but with young guys at quarterback and some other positions, you do put your foot on the gas and you play a bunch of guys, but you keep going full speed ahead till the game's completely out of hand and everybody has good experience. So.
If they can cover they probably could jump into the top 25. I mean, they're right at 26.
Yeah.
And if you do what you're expected and someone in front of you stumbles, in you go.
Yeah.
And then once you're in, then it's on you to stay in.
Hey, Mark says that last week would have been awesome. Maybe next week. I'll hit the outrigger after the show. So
There you go.
There you go.
Give them our best over there. The Cougars going to wear those Navy helmets and the jersey, the Navy tops, and then white pants with the Navy trim. That's how they're rolling out the season opener. That'll look nice under the lights.
As far as the polls, we covered a little bit. BYU's number 23 in the coaches poll. As you mentioned, 26 in the AP top 25 and likely to move in with a convincing victory. And then the ESPN Power Index has them at 22.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the big three right now until the college football playoff poll starts coming out.
Charles is in from Eagle Mountain, Utah. Not too far from here. It's depending on the traffic. It's either 25 minutes on a Sunday or it's like 55 minutes to an hour on, say, Monday night. So we're glad you're over there in Eagle Mountain taking in the Wise Guys. There were some new rules that creeped up we wanted to talk about. Brandon Doman's going to join us in just a couple of minutes, and we'll talk all things quarterback with an expert in just a couple of minutes. But the Big 12 announced, I thought this was interesting, that its teams now by law or rule have to announce their injury reports beginning 3 days before the kickoff. Men's and women's basketball will update their injury reports the day before their next game. So that's great, because how many times have we sat on the set of game day wondering if such and such is going to play or not?
Right.
When he wasn't going to play at all, but no one would say anything until the game started. Well, now, if he's out, it's on Thursday. And if he's kind of out, you got to update him on Friday. And then Saturday, it's going to do it like the NFL does.
Yeah, and the networks, they pay way too much to be able to cover these games for people to give them the okey doke and say, oh yeah, we don't know, he should play, when a guy just had surgery on Tuesday. And ESPN or Fox is preparing for these games. There need to be injury reports. And I like it. I think it's a good rule. It's been a rule in the NFL and the NBA for a long time. You have to have an injury report that's honest.
Two guys that we know of that don't like giving out injury reports. Kyle Whittingham, and then the guy that Kyle taught, who's at BYU, and Kalani. And now and both of them said, sure, that's a rule. And one thing Kyle said is, well, we would never do it to give ourselves up, give up an advantage. But if everyone has to do it,
that is fair.
Then right. So be it. So I do think that it'll affect, certainly if a star is out, that affects the game.
Yeah, it does. It does. So, and we don't talk much about this on this show, but there's hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars bet on college sports.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal if somebody's starting quarterback or their 1,000-yard rusher is not playing next Saturday. And it affects a lot of people. So.
Yeah, it does. So I'm glad they're just, creeping up. College sports is just creeping up to mirror what the professional sports are doing.
That's right.
As soon as that NBA line drops back to the same distance as the NBA three-point shot, that'll just be another thing. And that seems to be the next kind of stuff that we're moving at. But here's another interesting rule change.
Yeah, so to stop players from faking injuries to stop the clock, which we've seen happen, right? A team's going down and they're out of timeouts, and then all of a sudden a guy comes up with a phantom injury. He sits on the ground. They come out. It's always cramps. And they get, and the clock stops, and they reset, get things back going, and it's almost like they just had a timeout. And so the rule is going to be this year that the NCAA says if a player on the field presents as injured after the ball's been spotted for the next play. So if in the course of a play somebody gets hurt, then they're hurt, right? They're down on the ground. But if you wait till the ball is set for the next play, so the officials get it back and get it set, and then you decide you're not ready and you fall down and get an injury, you're getting charged with a timeout. And if you don't have a timeout, you're going to get a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, do you like that?
Yeah, I like it because I hate to see, how many times have we seen the officials get the ball set in a 2-minute offense? It's like an offense is running a 2-minute offense. The defense is on their heels. The official runs and sets the ball in the middle, and a defender falls down. Oh, I've got cramps.
Yeah, grabs his hamstring.
My hamstring. And now everybody sits there. The momentum's gone for the offense. They walk the guy slowly off the field while the defensive coaches are talking to the defense about, guys, this is what they're doing. They get somebody out on the field, and then all of a sudden the drive stalls. Hate it. It can't happen now.
Yeah.
So
and you know what? And you can't, especially if you're trying to get the ball back, you can't take a 5-yard penalty. That might give the other team a first down anyway. Yeah. So you don't fake injuries. That's the thing.
No, and
just don't do it.
Just to address it, and keep in mind, like if you're a big guy, and you're getting gassed, you're up front on the D line or you're on the offensive line. This shouldn't happen on the offensive, but on the defensive line, you're getting gassed out there, and the drive's kind of going, and you're exhausted. If the other team subs in, they have to let you sub out. If you're really exhausted, then stay down as soon as the play ends.
Yeah.
Right? I guess you could still fake one.
And then you're coming out because you have to stay on a play. But you got
to pre-plan to fake it before the play, like during the play.
And then you have to fake it, but you have to be willing to sit out the next play.
Yeah, which they'd want to do anyhow.
Yeah. So, all right. College Football Report put out their top coaches in college football, and they ranked Kalani Sitake number 26.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think he's higher than that, but
there's a lot of coaches in college football, and that 26 seemed pretty good. If you back up what you just did this year, I think you leapfrog that.
Yeah, if they finish ranked in top 15 again this year,
then you go up to the top 15.
Then he'll be a top 15 coach next year in every one of those polls.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see his style, which has evolved into a perfect fit at BYU. Mm-hmm. Maybe not a perfect fit everywhere else or other places, but that doesn't matter because he's currently at this place.
Right.
And he just seems to be more and more comfortable in his own skin, which tells me that he is really comfortable with his team. Like he knows they're pretty good.
He is. He feels like they've got talent. It's been interesting that you and I get a chance to talk to some of these guys that have transferred in, and had a great visit with Andrew Gentry, the big offensive tackle transfer from Michigan, who played quite a bit on that offensive line that was ranked the number 1 offensive line in college football on that national championship Michigan team a couple years ago. And he said when he was getting recruited out of high school, like he wanted so badly to come play for Kalani because he just wanted to play for Kalani. Like he wanted to play in that culture for that type of a man where it felt like family, all those things. He said, but the thing that was holding me back was BYU is still in independence when I was coming out. So I know they weren't going to get the exposure playing against big time teams, but I want to play in the NFL, wanted to play in the NFL. I just felt like, man, I need to be going against NFL athletes every day in practice and every day in games. And I wanted to have a chance to compete for national championships in a big time, program. And so lo and behold, he goes out there to Michigan and plays for Harbaugh. Now Harbaugh leaves, so that has him going, okay, I love the culture under Harbaugh, but guess what? Now the place that I wanted to go to because of the culture is in a Power 4 conference. They just won 11 games and they're ranked in the top 15. They're in a position to start competing for the college football playoff. They are playing against NFL athletes every week in games. There's no reason for me not to go to BYU. So I'm going to transfer from Michigan to BYU because originally the thing that drew me there was because I wanted to play for Kalani Sitake, but he just didn't have all of the things I needed to go with a coach. We have heard that same scenario over and over again. And if you look at this year's recruiting class, it's resonating with the high school recruits too. So it's a huge difference when you've got great culture and you also are playing in a league with the opportunity to compete for all of the things that everybody else can compete for, then the coach trumps everything else and you come here. So it's working out for Kalani. This last recruiting class was phenomenal.
Our first guest tonight played quarterback at BYU and with the 49ers. He was also the quarterback's coach and offensive coordinator for the Cougars, and that makes him an expert on what we want to talk about tonight, as do all of you, based on the comments on the stream. Our pleasure to welcome our friend Brandon Doman back to the Wise Guys. And Brandon, can you believe that we've got games this weekend? That it's actually here?
It's about time. I'm bored to death. I need something to do.
From a player and coach's perspective, what is the final 2-week build-up to a season opener like?
It's all game prep now. They've transitioned into preparing for Portland State, for Stanford, East Carolina. They're off into their first 3 opponents. And obviously BYU needs to finalize their quarterback position and begin dumping as many reps as they can into their starter. But it's game prep and game planning now.
It's not official, but last week comments coming out of camp from A-Rod and from Kalani were, hey, we're now 3 weeks into this thing, and here's this kid that never had a practice at BYU, and he's staying right even with the guys that have been here for a year, and that says a lot to us. So we're going to throw him in with a bunch of number 1 reps this week, and we're going to put pressure on him and see if he still holds up with all the pressure on him. And from all accounts, it sounds like he held up pretty good this last week. So let's just make this assumption as him. And I'm aware that if he goes out and throws like 10 picks this week in practice, he's not going to be the guy, right? It's just he could be, because they feel really good about actually all 4 guys they have. But let's say that he's the guy at quarterback. What do you do the next couple of weeks for him if you're Aaron Roderick to get him ready to play when he's never played a Division I game in his life?
Well, I know that they're going to try and get him in the stadium a couple times. They did a scrimmage here just a couple days ago in the stadium, or at least a practice, and invited some Cougar Club members down. I think that's strategic. Put him in the stadium, put some people in the stands, and they'll do that a couple more times, just so he's in the building, in the locker room, out on the field, and then develop a game plan around him that he can execute. And it's going to be a little different for him than it would be for McKay. I think McKay would be a little bit more advanced in the playbook, even though this young freshman's showing signs of being able to manage the playbook. It just would be a serious mistake to give him too much to do. So what can he execute? I would make sure you have a run game ready to go. And if you've got a run game ready to go, what role does he play in that? Make sure that he can execute the role. And it looks like a young man that can do that. He's had plenty of QB run game stuff in high school. So be very, simplify that in a way that he knows how to execute it like he did in high school, and then get some run pass option stuff out of that he can execute. And, a little bit of some rollout and some play action, and make it very simple for him. He's got plenty of skill. So I suspect that Aaron knows exactly what he's doing, and they'll do a good job.
As you speak, Timothy checks in on the stream from Perth, Australia. So happy Tuesday, Timothy. Hope things are going good.
And he does say,
there.
I love the experience and thoughts from Brandon. So there you go. He specifically called you out, Brandon, from Australia.
Hey, let me piggyback onto that question that Blaine asked you. How do you call that opening game, considering the strengths of the team and the newness at quarterback, and you're thinking your first 4 plays of his career? What are you going to do?
It's a discovery game. They need to try several different things to find out what their team can do. But you're going to ask me later in the show, one of my favorite things about an opening game is the discovery aspect of the game. And that's from a coach's perspective. What we think we know, we act like we know, we really don't know. So until we get into that game and we actually start seeing live bullets from true competition, we're going to find out what we really have. And I think the beauty of a Portland State game is let's try a handful of things. Let's give him several different opportunities to see what he can do and advance the ball down the field.
Well, do you start like, okay, LJ, we're going off right tackle, and are you just going to go with the basic thing? Or you're going to roll him out and go from there? What are you going to do? What's your play call?
You're saying the first play of the game?
Oh yeah,
first series. What are you calling for him?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I think that you might as well just baptize him and
go
let
deep.
him throw it.
Yeah, let him throw it. Absolutely. That's what I would do. I'd put him on the move. I don't know what he does well. Those guys are in practice with him every day. What's an easy completion for him where he can, make a simple decision? If it were me, I would, I know McKay Hillstead, so I'd try and find a way to get a quick throw off for him or let him move. But I think it'd be good to let him throw that first play of the game, just get the jitters out for him. If he's a bit of an anxious guy or he's kind of a bull in a china cabinet a little bit, then let him get a run in. Do something with him where it's a zone read, let him run the ball or do something to get him into the game a little bit and get, maybe just get hit early on in that game. So identifying what gets him going, those are a few thoughts I have.
Brandon, it's interesting. Do you approach it a little different? And we kind of set this up earlier where And I've been talking to A-Rod all along the way, and he said, here's the good news this year. We're not like having a guy clearly stand out because they're all bad. We're having a guy not clearly stand out because nobody's really taking it by the throat because they're all playing really well. And he's serious about that. And behind the scenes, you and I have had conversations when you were here. A-Rod and I have had conversations. Norm Chow and I have had conversations where it's like, we're just not good at court. Like, we don't have anybody right now. But that's not the case. And you know McKay, he's very skilled. He's a big playmaker. Trayson's good. They have a young freshman, Gauman from Bountiful, who looks phenomenal in camp right now. So he's got 4 good quarterbacks, 2 with experience, a freshman that comes in heralded. When you know you have guys that could just like step in, do you run the quarterback more? Do you go, you know what? We're not going to try to protect the quarterback at all. We're going to run Bear a bunch because if he gets hurt or if McKay goes in, we're not going to hold back running McKay. If McKay ends up being the guy in 2 weeks, we're going to run McKay because that's what he does well. If he gets hurt, that's okay because 2 and 3 are good. Do you approach it differently?
Well, let me comment first on having 4 quarterbacks. McKay Hillstead is one of my son's very close friends. They went to high school together. I know McKay well, so I'm a big fan of McKay.
Sure.
But I'm a bit concerned for McKay in that he hasn't been named the starter thus far. They know him well. They've had him for over a year now, and through spring and through the summer. And sometimes my concern is even though we've got good players, that maybe they don't have a quarterback yet. Maybe they really don't. And so we may say, well, we got a bunch of good athletes and a bunch of good players. The longer this goes, and I think with some uncertainty, I do think they're a little bit concerned. And Bear is coming in, highly touted, highly recruited player. I'm sure he would not have come in the atmosphere that he came in had he not been given some certainty that he'd be given a very, very good shot at this. So not that he was promised the starting job, but he was started a pretty dang good shot at it. And otherwise he wouldn't be here. So they've got to give Bear a real fair shot at this. Otherwise they would have been breaking some promises that they gave him early in recruiting. So here you got a young man that probably was given a lot of opportunity and is a standout guy going against a McKay Hillstead that I think really has the capabilities, but there's been some concern about can he really do it. And my advice to McKay is hang in there, brother. I've been there. I know what that feels like. Mm-hmm. You hang in there. You have your helmet right next to your side and be ready to go. And my advice to Bear is you give it everything you got. Take full advantage of this opportunity because sometimes you only get one shot at it, and that's the concern about playing a freshman this early. And so BYU's got to be really smart now about how they choose to go about this with Bear and McKay. And I know they're having all those conversations, but those are the thoughts that continue to come to my mind. Secondly, I don't think BYU's offensive line and run game, even though we're excited about some of the freshness there, I don't think it's good enough without quarterback involvement. I just don't think in the Big 12 and the defenses they're going to see, if there's not an active quarterback in the scheme, I don't think the running game is going to be good enough. So, yes, they're going to have to use the quarterback.
Think about that too, Brandon. In this league, the best quarterbacks in the league, they're all utilized in the run game and moving around. I can't think of a quarterback in this league that's the old school 6'4", drop back, pocket pass guy, because those guys get destroyed in this league. It's a league where you got to move the guy around, right?
Yeah, they're so athletic. I mean, just think about University of Utah's defense. They have such a good pass rush. They have such a great run-stop defense. You insert a quarterback that can move. My experience against them over the years has been that is the neutralizer, or I should say the equalizer, that truly now creates a mismatch for them in the man-to-man schemes that they have. And BYU wants to play more man-to-man defense because they've got more athleticism. So a quarterback athlete in that setting, if you miss it on defense, if somehow you don't cover down a particular gap and you have an athletic quarterback, they really can equalize athleticism and create some advantage for the offense. So you're seeing it more and more. and hopefully BYU will take advantage of that, because I think they got guys that can do it.
Former Cougar quarterback coach, offensive coordinator Brandon Doman on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus Eddie and by Mountain America Credit Union. Ryan, a Skyline grad, is on the stream from Memphis, Tennessee. There you go. Represent the Eagles, right? Is it the Eagles, the Skyline Eagles? Scott Ernest from Idaho Falls says he's been watching you since you were playing Pee Wee football. So
that's wild.
I don't know if that's an old neighbor or what. And
I feel like I have too.
Yeah.
How much older is Kevin than you, Brandon?
Kevin is, let's see, he's 15 years older than me.
Yeah. So when I was playing with Kevin, and I knew of your whole family, we probably were watching you play Little League football. So I watched Brandon play Little League.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I certainly watched him at Skyline in a bunch of games because we were really following him then.
Here's an expert-related question, since we believe you are one, and we love when you open some insights here. But in that first quarter against Portland State, and it is Bear Bachmeier quarterback, what are the conversations taking place between him, Matt Mitchell, the quarterback coach, and Roderick up in the booth in that first quarter of this first game of what might be a 4-year run or a 1-game experiment? But what's being talked about between those three?
First thing first, have fun, be Bear. You know who Bear is. You be the guy that you were raised to be, and have a ton of fun out there. Don't let anything distract you from the love of the game and the love of the moment. And you play like you know how to play. And I think sometimes coaches don't do a very good job of just making sure that he knows, we got you, we know who you are, we trust you, you go play. And then secondly, every teaching moment you can give him is critical. So he needs to hear really 1, maybe 2 voices. If he has 3 voices, it's too many. And enabling him to now discover how to move the chains. Completions equal first downs, and first downs equal touchdowns. And teach him in that setting where might he have made some improvements on the drive before to have kept the chains moving. And there'll be so many teaching moments, and even in the Portland State game, because not everything's going to go right, even though the opponent may not be as good as a Stanford or down the road. Help him recognize that he is the last line of defense, and give him as many simple successes along the way in that game as you can, building upon knowing what's coming down the road.
You've been in a situation where you weren't the guy, and then you were the guy. I've been in that situation. What kinds of things will you be looking for and asking from the guys that are 2 and 3 in this situation? What do they need to do? And let's say it's Bear. It doesn't really matter if it's Bear and it's McKay and Trayson backing up, or if it's McKay and it's Bear and Trayson backing up. What do you need from those other 2 guys?
Be a teammate. Be completely engaged in the game. Be engaged in the game plan. Be engaged in all the meeting prep going into the game. Be engaged in pregame conversation. They're going to have to be signaling to the field, so they're going to have to be very involved in supporting the success of the offense. And the players are watching, the coaches are watching, they know who you are, and at some point, in most cases, statistics are going to say, at some point, you're going to get a shot. Mm-hmm. When that shot comes, and I said it about Bear, when that shot comes, what did you do with it? And I was raised as a little kid that preparation plus opportunity equals success.
And how did you, take people back? You weren't the guy that was supposed to be starting when you finally started. Some things had to happen for you to end up in that starting role. And take us back to that for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I considered transferring twice to the University of Utah. I mean, I went to Ron McBride's office and tried to convince him to let me transfer up there, and he would have been glad to take me, but I was just fortunate for myself that never materialized. So fast forward through those experiences, I just begged the coaches, and I don't know how you did it, Blaine, but I was begging Robbie Bosco. I was begging Lance Reynolds and Norm Chow, just give me some reps. I want to get better. I need opportunities just to improve my game. If you want me to stay at quarterback, then let me have some shots at it. If there's going to be a meeting with a quarterback, don't go have a private closed-door meeting without me. Let me sit in the back corner, if anything. Just let me hear what you're saying. Let me be involved in what's going on, because I'm not getting better. And in order for me to be a quarterback, I got to be finding some success along the way. And to their credit, they let that happen. So you just have to be determined and have some grit, some stick-to-itiveness to believe in yourself and believe in the process. And then by danged if Brett Ingeman didn't get hurt and then Charlie Peterson didn't get hurt. They got hurt and they couldn't play. I'd have never played, but they got hurt in such a way that they could not play. And so when I was put in, there was nobody else to put in. I was the only one there. So when I got in, fortunately it worked and I was ready to play. And a lot of that has to do with the coaches committing to say, okay, Brandon, we'll keep you engaged. We'll keep you involved. And I was ready when the time came.
Yeah, if you weren't ready, when somebody else came, they would have put you back in. But the advice that you just gave to Bear Bachmeier, you applied to yourself, where when the opportunity comes, you better grab it, which you did, and then it was like he's never coming off the field. And that's at any position, right? I think about Bruce Mitchell last year. He goes in for a couple of games for Connor Pay, and they don't even know what they have. And then they're 2 games in, and they go, okay, Connor's coming back. This dude can play. We better start him at guard. And they moved him over to play him at guard, and now he's just the automatic starting center this year. And so I guess that applies to these guys. But how do you, like if you're not the guy and you want him to be the guy, how do you keep that mentality and not get down if the other guy plays a couple of games and starts to play well? How do you stay in it?
It's so hard. You have to surround yourself with people that believe in you. So the guys that aren't on the sideline, it can't just be the locker room. It can't just be the coaches. When you go home at night and you're getting on the phone, who are you talking to? Who's mentoring you? Who's supporting you from the sidelines and from the bleachers? And I just, I get the chills thinking about it. It's amazing. You're 48 years old and I still get the chills thinking about it. I had an unbelievable supporting cast, most of whom were 3 older brothers that just parked their tents outside my house, my life, and they just made sure that I never stopped believing. And my dad and my mom. And so who's in your camp helping you continue to believe? And if you don't have a camp, I'll be your camp. You call me on the phone, but you find a camp that's going to believe in you and keep you moving forward.
Greg Norton's on the stream from the 8th tee at Oak Ridge Country Club. I don't know how you can listen to the wise guys and stay focused on what you're about to do.
Earbuds, AirPods. I don't know what they call it.
But we're glad to have you with us with Brandon Doman. If you go with a freshman quarterback, there's more than this season at play, right? You're making a long-term decision. Aren't you pretty much banking on we're going with this guy for the next 3 to 4 years? Isn't that ideally if Bachmeier's good enough to go, he goes until Ryder Lyons? Is that kind of how you would make this choice?
I mean, that's how they're looking at it. They wouldn't play him unless they didn't think that he was the best guy to win. If they didn't feel like he gave them the best shot at winning, they would put another guy in. And that's clearly the direction they're moving in. They feel like he gives them the best chance to win now. And clearly they recognize that the next few years because they don't have anybody else. And I know that the other quarterback from Bountiful, I forgot his name. Anyways, is probably not going to be here.
Yeah, he leaves in January on a mission. He's adamant about that, which I love, right?
Yeah.
He's the biggest surprise of fall camp, honestly. Brandon, like he comes in and 3 days later, like, okay, let's just put this kid on scholarship. He needs to come back here after his mission. We had no idea he was this good.
I've heard that from a number of people that this kid may be the best athlete in the state of Utah, his age.
Right, he's 6'3" and has a 40-inch vertical jump and runs 4.4 or 40.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that BYU got an unbelievable get out of that young man.
Yeah,
I'm excited about that. I love guys like that come in. I mean, so it'll be fun to get him back. They've signed they've got some full cupboards finally.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, with Jake leaving, had they not had some cupboards, they'd be in a serious dilemma. So as Blaine said earlier, we believe and we're hopeful that the guys that they got are good players. And if that's the case, then we should be in good shape. Even if Bear or McKay or whoever else is in the game, we should have enough talent to play.
Hey, I want to run something by, because I say this and people look at me like I'm crazy. And I want to get your take on it. And if I'm crazy, you need to tell me I'm crazy. People are like, well, so if Bear's the guy, he's the guy, or McKay until Ryder comes back. And I say, yeah, I think Ryder is a phenomenal talent, but I have no idea if Ryder's going to be a good Division I quarterback. And they look at me like, are you out of your mind? And I go, we've had a lot of really highly, and as has everyone else, highly recruited quarterbacks, and the processing speed has to make such a jump from high school to college. Some unbelievable athletes that can throw the ball like crazy and throw for 5,000 yards in a high school senior season don't translate, and you don't know until they're there and they're playing against the speed of these defenses. And so I believe that he's got a much better chance than anybody else we could sign, because all the signs are. But there's no guarantee with anybody. And when I say that, Brandon, people act like I'm out of my mind.
Yeah.
They're like, no, he's the number one quarterback recruit in the country. I'm like, I'm telling you guys, I love the kid. I think he's going to be great, but I don't know. Am I crazy?
I mean, he has to, there's so many factors. How does the guy fit in socially? How does he fit in the locker room? What kind of work ethic does he have? What habitual behaviors does he bring with him? Is he a leader? Does he have grit? Does he have all these other intangible features that you expect them to have? And then all of a sudden you put him with a bunch of 22, 23, 24-year-olds. And if he doesn't have it, they don't care. They just don't care that you were a big-time recruit. Put your big boy pants on and come on in this locker room and you flip and prove it to us. And he's going to have to prove it, just like everybody else.
Former 49ers quarterback Brandon Doman on the Wise Guys. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. Carolyn on the stream from Phoenix. Jason's in Oklahoma City as we span the country and the globe here tonight. Time for 5 questions with Brandon, presented by Strategy Square. Let Chantal build your company's social media presence at strategysquare.co. On Saturday, August 25th, 2001, Brandon led the Cougars to a 70-35 win over Tulane at LaVell Edwards Stadium. Counted for 4 touchdowns. Was done for the day by the end of the third quarter. Nice job. That's a true BYU star statistic. Were you in the fourth quarter? McMahon, Young, Detmer, Doman, they like to sit out the fourth quarters when the score's that way. BYU opens the new season a week from Saturday at LaVell Edwards Stadium, so we thought this would be a perfect time to ask Brandon his 5 favorite things about playing or coaching in a season opener. And we gave you a few days to think about it because you've done it all, and I'm eager to see what you came up with.
Well, I actually made a little note here. Let me start with number 1. I think this is the same as a player as it was as a coach. I just love the fans in the stands. Mm-hmm. I just love that part of the first game, the game opener. There's so much excitement. Football's been away from us for way too long, and we can't wait to get back in the stadium. And it's just fun to see the fans there and the enthusiasm of the fans. I love competing. Finally, you're looking across the field and there's someone in a different colored jersey, and that's the first whack at it you get, and you've been waiting for it for a long time. I love that part of the first game. I love in Cougar Stadium, I love late summer freshly cut grass. It's the first first game of the year. It smells different. You can kind of smell it as you're coming into the stadium. I just love that part of it. As a player, I loved brand new uniforms. I love putting on your jersey for the first time, your pants. I love getting, feeling like I think a player plays good if they look good. So you're trying to look sweet in the locker room. I love that part of it. I think as a football coach, as I said earlier, I love the discovery of the first game. I love the new team. I love the new plan. I love the discovery they go through. And there are some players that we don't know yet. They're going to rise up, and you just don't know who they're going to be, and we're not expecting them. We're just not expecting them, and a couple of them are going to become stars this year, and it'll start game 1. And I'm so excited to find out who those guys are going to be. We know who the expected stars are going to be, but there's going to be a couple sleepers that come out of this thing. Hopefully it's Bear or McKay, but there's going to be some others. It's going to be fun to watch.
Good stuff. You said number 1 was fans in the stands. Does running out of that tunnel the first time every year, does that ever get old? I mean, it doesn't get old all season long, but the first run out of the season out of that tunnel, whether you're a freshman or a senior, does that ever get old?
That's part of it. That's part of the fans in the stands. And I mean, they do that alumni game. I can't help myself, even as a 48-year-old man running out of that tunnel. It's pretty good.
Now, look, when you're running out there with 105 or 10 or however many, how many close calls have you had from tripping and going down and taking 20 guys behind you?
I have never tripped or almost tripped. But I've seen some guys fall down.
Yeah.
Before.
And then, one goes down. Sometimes you see it in Pee Wee football. One goes down, the whole team goes down.
Yeah, no, I've never actually been a part of that, but myself personally, but I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
Have you run the flag out since you've been out of coaching here? Have you run it out?
Yeah, I almost pulled my hamstring.
See, that's what I was going to ask you about, because that's a whole different deal. Like, you could fall doing that.
Well, the team's running behind you, so you better get moving. Otherwise, trample you down.
That's a lot of pressure. Mark's on the stream from New Jersey. Thomas is in Delaware tonight. Stan is in Delco, Idaho. All listening to Brandon Doman. By the way, Brandon, you and Robbie Bosco are the only Cougars in program history to go 14-0 in your first 14 starts. That's not bad.
Well, Robbie's a better golfer than me, so he must have won the national championship. We didn't.
He's a better golfer than most people I know. So
I know.
He loves
Dang
it. I know. He just has he's mastered that game when he was in high school. So we were too busy actually being football players while Robbie was being a golfer that on the side played quarterback. And that's why we'll never catch him as golfers.
Hey, let's
He's got
finish.
that long, lanky, twisty body.
Yep.
He just, I don't know what it is. It's not
Well, if you
fair.
have no muscle, then you have big range of motion. You can really turn on the ball. That's the thing.
The muscles don't get in the way of his swing.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying.
I was in the weight room doing cleans one time, and he came running in there full speed and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm lifting weights. Quarterbacks don't lift weights." I'm like, "Get out of here. I lift weights." Anyway.
He had a whole opinion about quarterbacks. Like, really quick story. We're playing in the vet against Temple. And Chad can attest to this. Back in the old days, before Lincoln Financial, the vet was a rough place to play, right? And Glenn Kozlowski, and you remember Glenn, Brandon, you were watching him play when you were just a little kid. Yep. He decides to get in a fight with the fans in the corner of the stadium, and they're coming out of the stands. And literally our whole team runs down to the corner to defend, and I'm sitting on a bench next to Robbie, and I notice our entire team's gone, and we're sitting next to each other. And he's got a little Gatorade cup in his hand, and I go, "Robbie, like, the whole team's down there fighting. Should we go down there?" And he goes, "Dude, we're quarterbacks." And then he just drank his drink.
That's exactly right. What it is.
Yeah, he knew what our role was. It was not to get in fights.
Hey, let's finish this note from Steve. Says, Brandon played up a year, was our quarterback on our sophomore football team at Skyline High, if I'm remembering correctly. Is that right?
Yes.
It's Steve Houston, and he's checking in from New Hampshire, one of your old teammates.
All right, Steve. I love it.
The great Brandon Doman on with us tonight. Thank you so much for your time. We're excited for the season, and we look forward to having you on during the season. And we kind of dissect what you're seeing, what you like, what you don't like, and all that stuff. But we love having you on the show, and you know that. Thank you.
And thanks for having me.
And Brandon, loved your whole family, brother. You know the Fowlers love the Domans, so.
Likewise. Thank you, guys.
See you, brother.
You got it. The great Brandon Doman. He rolled out a 12-0 start. On his senior season. And remember, he won the last two games of his beat New Mexico, beat Utah, and 14-0 in his first 14 starts. And then, of course, Robbie went undefeated in 84 and then beat Boston College in 85 and then got beat.
They lost to UCLA
in the 15th game. That's awesome. Hey, join us tomorrow, along with David Nixon, for After Further Review. We're going to break down some of the impact players the Cougars will be counting on this season. The show starts every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Mountain Time on the BYU TV app, and it'll stay there forever, and you can watch it for as long as you want. We love After Further Review. Before we bring Chad on, let's just run down a couple of future Cougars who made their high school season debuts a couple of days ago. And Brock Harris is certainly on I texted him, I said, "Hey, look, we're following you all season on the Wise Guys." And he gave a thumbs up as Omaha, Nebraska checks in on the live stream. And I'll tell you what, he had a first quarter of his first game of his senior season.
Yeah, so 3 touchdowns and over 200 yards in the first quarter of that Pineview game against Manti. Now, Pineview was just overmatching Manti, but 51-45 win.
Yeah, Pineview needs to start playing some defense.
Well, it's hard to cover a tight end that size. And his first catch of the season went 76 yards for a touchdown. Yeah. And I know people know how big of a recruit Brock Harris is, and Chad will attest this because I know he's seen him on film. We keep talking about Ryder Lyons and Madsen and all these guys. Brock Harris is big time a guy as any of those guys, and is going to have a huge impact. And actually, I think it's easier to project a tight end being great than it is to project a quarterback being great. He just has all the tools.
I think he's going to get to 5-star. He's 4-star, but I think he's going to be a 5-star.
He is something special.
Graham Livingston had 17 receptions for 179 yards and 3 touchdowns in Ridgeline's 34-14 win over Morgan. Again, Morgan's not a world beater.
That's not a typo, right?
But these are BYU. These are future Cougs who dominate on the field.
Legend Glasgow, 2 touchdown receptions for Lehigh, 55-0 win over Maple Mountain.
That's a pretty good start, 55-0. Lehigh may be the best team in the state.
Yeah.
They'll bang heads with Corner Canyon here in Utah. And Ryder Lyons, by the way, makes his season debut Saturday against Grant. Ryder plays for Folsom there in California, and I think that game's on ESPN, or at least one of the things. You get a chance to check out the 5-star future Cougar quarterback that we were talking about a moment ago.
And by the way, I'm not disparaging Ryder at all. I think he's like, he has the best chance of being like a big time NFL guy of anybody we've recruited, right? But we still just don't know because he's a quarterback.
Yeah, we have to see it.
Yeah.
We have to see it. All right, as Chad sits down, I got the Cougar Board question of the week. If you're not familiar with Cougar Board, it's the largest online community of BYU fans with thousands of posts every day. Here's one from Curdy, one of the Insider subscribers, and she writes, assuming Bear will be named the starter, how do you see the offense working to keep the usual issues with a freshman quarterback from affecting the season? Does having a freshman quarterback change your expectations for the year ahead? We got a lot of good insight from Brandon Doman on that a few minutes ago. So give a Reader's Digest answer to that one.
I think they'll involve him a lot in the run game. He's a phenomenal running quarterback in high school. And the reason he weighs 47 is because he was a running back, and when they moved him to quarterback, he wanted to keep that 47. He's a big, strong kid. And so you involve him in the run game, which keeps defenses off balance when he can do that. You give him, especially early in the season, easy throws and progression reads where you just go, listen, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 here, or we're going to go deep to shallow here, or you're going to read the strong side here. To give him easy reads where he can get the ball out on time, and as he gains experience, you can add more. But I agree with Brandon 100%. You keep it simple for him early, and you let him make plays, because he's physical and can run the football, and you got so many playmakers around him, including a great tight end now that's playing great, and Carson Ryan. Get the ball to your playmakers and make it easy on them. That's what you do.
We got Aquaman. Aquaman has come into the show.
What's up?
Hey. Chad Lewis, a face synonymous with BYU sports, turned his walk-on status into All-American status to NFL tight end status to Pro Bowl status a few times. As an alum, he's represented BYU at the highest levels, even the White House. Today, he's a senior associate athletic director over development on campus, and it's our pleasure to welcome back to the Wise Guys our longtime friend Chad Lewis. First time in the studio. What do you think?
Yeah, last time you zoomed in.
Yeah.
But we built this all retro. Well, Jack built it all retro for
Zooming
us.
in's fun. I mean, it's easy, but this is really cool.
No,
You
we're
guys got
so
something
glad you're
sweet. Good work.
Thank you. Hey, not everyone gets to have dinner at the White House. And so you had dinner at the White House.
It was really cool.
How'd you pull that off?
Great food. President Bush said, "Do you want to come to the White House for dinner?" And then I was on the plane heading from Cleveland. We just beat the Browns back home. And so I sent my tight ends coach, Tom Melvin, up to talk to Andy Reid, because Andy had a pretty good policy. We don't talk politics and we don't talk religion. We win football games.
Yeah.
And so I said, "Hey, Tom, the White House wants to have me for dinner." Well, first they wanted me to introduce President Bush 2 nights before the election.
Right. So who's calling you? Who's calling
Andy
you?
Reid.
The chief of staff?
This is yeah.
Chief
I'd have
of
to go
staff's
through my
calling.
notes. Someone
Okay,
from
but-
the White
yeah,
House.
but somebody
this is
big.
so-and-so from the White House. I'm like, okay.
Wait, did Andy give you a hassle on this?
Andy came back, and the message from Tom Melvin was, "Hey, you know the policy, but since it's the president, he'll relent."
Okay.
There you go.
So the night comes and you and your wife walk into the White House.
Okay, the White House, we went to the White House after the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So that was for Valentine's. It was a state dinner. So we're dressed up, and yeah, that was dinner at the White House. And the guests were Lynn Swan, Roger Staubach, and Willie Mays,
Oh my goodness.
and myself.
And Chad Lewis.
I'm like, one of these guys is not like the other.
Yeah, you were at the top
I
of the
loved
game.
it. It was so much fun. It was cool.
so cool.
Did you get the feeling that and then we'll talk football. But did you get the feeling that you're sitting in the most recognizable house on the planet and
No
the
question
source
about
of American power and
Yeah.
everything that comes with it?
Yeah, totally. You got the history, the love, the country, the patriotism. This is a couple years after 9/11.
Yeah.
Oh,
It all meant something to Michelle and I. Secretary Levin, his wife were in there. He was still Secretary of Health and Human Services, so he spoke to us and said, hey, as we go into the dinner, just know that you'll be separated. Michelle, you'll be sitting at a different table. And she was like, what? She sat with President Bush.
She did?
And Willie Mays and Lynn Swan. And it was a great table.
Where were you, back with the cooks?
I was at I was washing dishes like crazy. I was at the next table, and that was a cool table too. We had,
did you have to speak at this?
no
You had to speak. Just
What'd
be
you
there
have?
and
What'd you
represent.
have? Steak?
steak and you had little medallions. I wrote about it in my book. I can't remember now.
I need to go back and read
have to
that
look
part.
at my journal.
Go back and read that part. I was
cool.
I was texting Andy Reid when he came on the show. Did he come last
Last year,
summer?
last summer.
So he was on the show last summer. So Andy and I are texting back and forth, and then all of a sudden a picture comes from the text, and I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, that looks like the White House. I go, are you in the White House? He goes, yeah. And I say, why are you texting me back and forth from the White
Because
House?
you're winning Super Bowls.
Yeah, he's like, well, because we're here and we had a little break and I didn't want to leave you hanging. That's Andy,
cool.
right? That's
yeah,
Andy.
man, he's the best.
Randall Smith says, tell Chad he's got fans watching live from Israel
Boom.
here tonight.
Shalom, shalom. I love Randy
shalom.
Smith.
That's awesome.
Stay safe over there. Keep your head down.
We got Israel in the house tonight. We've got Australia in the house tonight. We've got England in the house tonight.
All right, yeah, and all over the United States.
All over the U.S.
So this is kind of a sweet deal.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
We like talking to everybody, and they love having you on. And when you look back at this game of football and the impact it's had on your life, what surprised you the most?
Surprised me the most?
Yeah.
The thing I love about sports and football is that it brings us together more than I would have ever imagined. Brings me and Shea Muirbrook and Tim McTire and Steve Sarkisian and that whole team together. Then in the pros, it was, go on and on. Ty Detmer was my first quarterback. Mm-hmm. And Donovan McNabb, Brian Dawkins, goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
I think sports is the great connector, the great bridge builder. I love the thought of the huddle. You come into the huddle, it doesn't matter what you look like, smell like, you just make plays and you are included. And then from there you build bridges. I think that's the greatest surprise to me is I went from Hillcrest, Lake Ridge, Orem High, and then the opportunity to play where I played, the friends along the way, the coaches along the way, the staff, the equipment managers, the trainers. I'm super grateful for what sports, and in my case, football, what it did for me in my life, connecting me with some of the greatest people ever. How cool is that?
It's really cool.
That's sports.
Yeah.
Thank
That's awesome.
heavens for the United States of America and sports. We love our sports.
We use the word influencers, and sometimes that has a negative oh, he's an influencer because of social media now. But I want to talk about influencers in a little different way, like people that have big influence on lots of people's lives and change maybe the direction of the game, things like that. And I throw some names out there: Lavelle Edwards,
Woo!
Andy Reid,
Life changers.
Steve Young. Even in today's game, Fred Warner, Taysom Hill. These are all BYU guys. What do you think about all that? The BYU's had so many people that have had such influence on the game of football that are in positions to have that much influence, and the BYU guys.
Incredible. Not just their influence on the game, because you look at what Taysom's done, scoring positions from so many different places. He is changing the game, his mind, his body. But you look at all these guys, the way they treat other people. And I think all of them, their teammates would say the same thing. Their coaches would say the same thing. Their fan bases would say the same thing. Man, these are great dudes. I love these guys. I love how they treat people. If that's your legacy, if that's your hallmark, that's a million times better than how many touchdowns you scored or how many tackles. That stuff goes away pretty quick.
Zachary's in Dickinson, North Dakota on the stream tonight. Brett and Melissa, Texas. And I saw Jay Beer says dinner with the dub, with W in parentheses. That's awesome, Chad. Dinner with the dub. Change in this game comes as fast as life changes. And you've watched this football team transition from the Jake Retzlaff situation to where they are today. How impressed are you with what you've seen?
Well, first of all, I'm so impressed with Kalani's Lavelle-like stability. It's very difficult to build culture. Everyone's trying to build culture. They write books on culture. If everyone's trying to build culture, then how come so few can do it? It's remarkable to me. So I want to say, look at what Kalani's done, putting together his staff, Jay Hill, Aaron Roderick, the rest of the staff. I think they're exceptional. Last year's bowl game was an example of that. I think there was a lot of trepidation for people getting ready for that game, and we got into that game, and what they did was impressive. I want to just recognize what Kalani and his staff have done and who they are. Jake, that was a difficult situation, went to Tulane. And by the way, how impressive was it when he started talking about Kalani and his teammates and the people here?
It was great.
Hats off to Jake, because you got 32 NFL head coaches watching, 32 GMs, 32 NFL staffs. They know he's in a difficult situation, and what did he do with it? I felt like he stood up like a man, took the high road, and the way he talked about it, I think every one of those people just went, check. That's a great guy right there. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So, Jake, great job.
Yeah.
What else? What'd you ask?
Well, you've seen this team transition to where they are today from where they were going to be with him in a short period of time.
Well, what I would say about that is there is a quiet confidence that always comes with Kalani and his teams. That is difficult to get. You can get bravado. You can get fake. We're going to kill everybody. But what you have is a very tough, very good football team, and they have this quiet Kalani confidence that's both humble and confident. It's both, I'm going to rip your face off and I'm going to lift you up next play. It's a unique combination that he brings to the table. And I love the way he does it. He thinks different than most people I've ever met. I love him. I love listening to him. I love hanging out with him. I love talking to him. I love his heart and soul that he brings to the guys. And then I love talking to this team and hearing how much they love him.
Yeah.
Why do they love him? They love him because he speaks their language. They love him because he's tough when he needs to be tough. He's funny when he needs to be funny. He has this unique package. I love the way they talk about him.
And
that's pretty cool.
If you're around enough, well, maybe not everybody, if they're around enough, you'll get what we call scary Kalani moment, where like he gets upset and he'll tell the guys that he's upset. And have you been around for a scary Kalani moment?
I've seen a bunch of those.
Yeah. And so
people think real. Like
people say, oh, love and learn. Like he's too soft. And I'm like, you've never been there for a scary Kalani moment, obviously, because he can get into these kids in a loving way. He can do it because they know he loves them. Right. So now he can get on them and they're like, we got to go. Let's go.
Right. That's right.
And then you walk out of there and you're ready. I've heard one and I wanted to go punch somebody. I wanted to go play, so it's a unique ability to do that, right?
Great combination, unique. You described it perfectly.
Former Cougar and current athletic administrator Chad Lewis is with us on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus, Eddie, and Mountain America Credit Union. And Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News. Let's talk about this quarterback situation. It could be a freshman. There's a lot of other weapons around him everywhere on offense except for at quarterback. How do you feel about starting a true freshman if it ends up being Bear? Is that doable? Is that tough? What are we looking at here?
We have great players. We have a great defense, great defensive scheme, great defensive minded, from Jay Hill on down. I have no problem if we're going to start Bear. I have no problem going in the Portland State game, not because I don't respect Portland State. I, as a football player, respect every person I play, and I think most football players do. It's the dumb ones that don't respect their opponents. Watch out. Mm-hmm. Everyone's working hard. I'm not afraid of Bear going out there and putting his big body on the line. I've seen his tape. He's a big, strong, fast dude. I'm not going to compare him to Taysom Hill because no one can, but he's got a lot of Taysom Hill in him.
Yeah.
I've seen him make great throws this training camp. I've seen him just get comfortable. So if it's him, bring it on. I think the guys are comfortable. I'm comfortable. I know the coaches are comfortable. So it's football.
Yeah.
I would love to have a senior quarterback who's won the national championship 3 years in a row coming to lead our team. That would
But
be
you don't have
sweet.
that, right?
But you don't. So what I hope we have is a bunch of guys that are willing to have as much fun as they possibly can on game day and remember what the coaches have coached them to do. If you're too nervous and you can't throw and you can't run, okay, next.
Right.
I hope they're cutting it loose. I know that's how Kalani is. I know that Andy Reid would always encourage us to let our personalities show. Don't go out there tight. Go out there. This is the most enjoyable, fun game in the world. Go cut it loose. Have some fun. Light up the scoreboard. Make things happen.
Man, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go too. I'm glad you mentioned the
let's
Taysom
go
Hill thing.
play.
People have come up to me and say, you've seen Bear, you've seen him around. Like, does he have the skill set like Taysom Hill? And it's like, what you talking about? Like, nobody in the history of the game has had the skill set of Taysom. Like, he's a freak in the best sense of the word.
He is.
And I'm like, so no, he's not like Taysom Hill, but he's pretty dang athletic, and he's 235 pounds, and he has a big arm. Like
When he gets running, people bounce off.
by most people's standards, he's a freak. But let's not compare him to the craziest freak of freaks, right?
Just let him be a freshman football player at BYU. Let him go earn his stripes. Let him go have some fun. That means you make some mistakes, you recover, you lead your team, and you have fun.
When Max was on the show a couple of weeks ago, he made his debut at BYU as a starter, and he said the defense was so good that they gave him room for error, and then he evolved into a guy who threw 95 touchdowns.
Max Hall?
Yeah, he said
he's
BYU
one of the
defense-
most competitive dudes we've ever had,
Yeah.
wanted to win worse than anything.
And he said he sees similarities in the makeup of this team with his team in breaking in a new quarterback.
Oh, that's cool. I hope to see that. It'll be fun.
He gave a lot of credit to the defense his sophomore year. He says, we were so good I could make mistakes, and they would just cover him up.
This time of year, it's easy for all of us to say whatever.
Yeah.
But all of us are thinking the same thing. I'll tell you in 2 weeks how good we are.
Exactly.
I'll tell you how the team
Exactly.
comes together. I'll tell you once we see them, like when the lights go on, who makes plays. Well, part of that we saw from a lot of this team from the last couple of years, the way, we played Kansas State and every single ball bounced our way in one of the most magical nights in LaVell Edwards Stadium and Cougar football history.
Right.
Let's just do that every night.
Phil is on the stream from Cedar Park, Texas. Neil's in Tucson tonight. Robert's checking in from Saratoga Springs, Utah. Let's talk about your favorite position on the field, the tight end spot. You've been watching Carson Ryan. He looks a lot like you. He looks a lot like the big guys that have been able to catch the ball over the middle where the tight ends have lived forever at BYU, but not so much lately. Do you see the tight end spot back now with Ryan?
I know that Aaron and Kalani in the offseason have said they want to make the tight end more integral to the offense. That will only help every part of the offense, the deep ball, the run game, and the short game. The tight end it's the easiest throw. You're a big guy going against not really the greatest cover players on the defensive side. They're more hitters. And you can work the zone to get open. As a quarterback, you can just rip that thing into a tight end. You got a big body, big target, big catch radius. I would love to see Carson go off. I would love to see the other tight ends contribute and go off. I would love to see the tight end become something special, which it has been through the history of BYU. When Blaine was there, they had some of the greatest tight ends ever. I mean,
If everything looked bad, just throw it to the tight end. That was our policy.
Oh man, you guys I was watching every one of those games.
Hey, you lined up opposite of Atula Mealy. That was one of the greatest tag teams in the history of the program.
I would say that you two, and we've had some great tight ends here, but as a pair, there's never been a better pair of tight ends that played together than you and Atula, and I've watched it for 40 years.
That's cool. We had fun together. We knew how to get each other open. Steve Sarkisian was a great quarterback, feeding us the ball. The offense, I mean, I could name every player on that offense. Just what we did with that team was a lot of fun. But specifically playing with Atula, that was a dream for me.
Yeah.
He was a big guy that could run, could catch. He was smooth. He would jump over you. He'd make you miss. He was a lot of fun.
You got open because of him. He got open because of you.
Yeah, we had great symmetry on that football field, and we had a lot of fun.
And you both had NFL careers. It's like it's rare for a team to have two tight ends that go on and both play in the league and have success and do all that. It was just a magical time.
He probably would have been a first or second round pick if he didn't get hurt in the WAC championship game in Vegas.
Yeah.
He was really gifted and talented. He's sweet.
Yeah.
Hey, looking over this roster, and a few more questions here with Chad Lewis tonight on the Wise Guys. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com all around the world. There are 56 players and 6 coaches who are returned missionaries on this roster. Guys that have gone out and served the Lord for 2 years in all parts of the world. In a program that went 11-2 last year, is ranked 23rd in the coaches poll ahead this season. Can you put that uniqueness in perspective? Like, how is that even possible?
Remarkable. BYU is remarkable. I want everyone watching this. Most of them are BYU people, so It's not a surprise to them. But to the rest, BYU is unique. Definitely we have high standards. We definitely don't want to be self-righteous punks in the way we go about our business. We want to lift the world. We want to give back to the world. We want to serve the world. Our standards are high. The prophet still, when he watches our games, football, basketball, any sport, he still expects, if he's in person or turn on the TV, to see BYU shine back at him on the TV. What does that mean? It means there's a certain way of playing. Play with your whole heart and soul. It means that our appearance is and should be different than anywhere else in the country. Short hair, shaved face, no earrings. That is still part of BYU. It's still a big part of BYU. And from him straight on down to all the apostles, that's what they expect. Well, guess what? We know that. And most of the players know that. And the way they represent BYU is so impressive. I love it. Football is a great sport, but it can be a nasty, very tough, mean sport. At BYU, you can still have the toughness of football, and Blaine will attest to this because they won a national championship. That has not been done again. But in the same time that you're winning a national championship and fighting and competing, you're living in a place of prayer, faith, blessings, brotherhood that is different. And we're all trying to hit the mark. We're trying to meet the standard. And it still matters. Yeah. So that's important.
Does it feel, Chad, like there's maybe a swing back? I mean, I'm looking at some of these recruiting classes. There's a lot of kids that are coming here that are not members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in multiple sports. I think of basketball, there are multiple Muslim kids on the team.
Foos.
And we're hearing from guys like Foos and from AJ and from multiple kids on this football team that have spent time over at our house that, I grew up in a really religious family. We believe in Jesus Christ, and the Muslims, they're not believing in Jesus Christ, but they're saying as their Savior. But they're saying, hey, we want a place where it's faith based.
Right.
We wanted to come to a place like that. This is the culture we wanted. It seemed like, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, we couldn't find kids like that, but we're finding more and more of them.
I love it.
What do you think's happening here?
I love it that they're comfortable here. I love the momentum of BYU sports. There's so much to look forward to. There's so much positivity on every team with the coaching staffs, the players. I love that the parents of the recruits and the recruits want to be a part of this and want to move it forward and see that they can come here and play at the highest levels. Look in the pros right now when you have, Puka Nacua, Taysom Hill, Fred Warner,
Kyle Van Noy,
people on both sides of the ball playing at the very top of the game. It's 100% possible to come to BYU and do that, and also do it in an environment where you have way less distractions, way less parties that are going to get you in trouble, way better atmosphere. I loved playing here at BYU, playing football in this atmosphere. I loved running out the tunnel with the Y on my helmet, on my chest, what it all meant, and the atmosphere and the environment we could do it in here. I loved it.
There's another trend to go along with that. Ryder Lyons, 5-star mission. Brock Harris, 4-star, going to be a 5-star mission. McKay Madsen, 4-star, picks BYU over Oregon on NBC mission.
Those are all beasts. You're naming
Kalani's getting
beast after beast.
The best of the best LDS talent who are also going on missions before they come.
Yeah, I would say Ammon and his brothers.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool that these guys have their priorities at a place where they want to serve their fellow men. Meaning, when we go on missions, the number one part is to teach people about Jesus Christ. No question about that. The number two part of going on a mission, we're dedicating a lot of hours every week in straight service. Don't care what people look like, smell like, what religion they are, we want to serve. So these guys that are going on missions are going out to serve their fellow men. That's a pretty remarkable vision for their lives. And when they do that, they come back more mature, a better sense of who they are and what they're fighting for and striving for. I think a better chance for success throughout their life if they've put things in order in the right way. I'm very impressed with this generation of BYU athletes, men and women. I just think they're top notch. Yeah. And for me, I get to be around them every day.
Right.
That's so fun.
It is very cool. I'm very grateful that that's my perspective. I love it. I love seeing what they're doing.
There's 55 players on the team, on this football team right now that speak a language other than English.
Needs that yeah.
There you go.
We're going to get to that.
So you got at the receiver position alone, Chase Roberts speaks Tagalog. He served in the Philippines. Cody Hagan speaks Mandarin, like you. You served in Taiwan. Did you ever use your language skills during a game to like throw off somebody? You ever say something to them in Mandarin and they're just like, huh? Like what?
It was Larry Harmer was my mission companion. He was on the defensive side of the ball at BYU. We would speak to each other in Chinese during practice.
What the other guys say? What were they thinking when they'd hear you guys?
They just wondered what we were saying, and we were just laughing the whole time.
But ever in a game, you throw guys defending you, and you say something just to throw them off of you're speaking.
No, I should have.
You're speaking Chinese at him.
On purpose mistake called sin.
Your language skill, particularly Mandarin, has led to some amazing opportunities. So the sports combined, maybe one of the rewards you reap from being on a mission is the ability to speak a language. Now you speak Mandarin, and that opened up some doors for you when you were in the NFL to represent the NFL in mainland China, right?
Yep, the NFL sent me to China and Asia multiple times to be an ambassador for the game, to do goodwill tours, to cover the games. I covered Super Bowl 38 in Mandarin the first time we went live to China. New England Patriots, Carolina Panthers. I had 2 weeks to prepare. So as you can imagine, all of my football Chinese was missionary Chinese.
You taught a few just
Tom Brady, I testify that Tom Brady's throwing true passes. And Mr. Han, the guy I was doing the broadcast with, he would just look at me and like, that's such an interesting way to call a game. So I say that I taught the discussions to 1.3 billion people in 6 hours.
That's next
That's
level.
awesome.
That's
Through
next
football.
level.
Through football. So football combined with missionary service and language training can lead to some pretty cool stuff.
Opens doors.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Before we get to 5 questions and we'll roll you out of here, as a steward over the department, over development with BYU Athletics, what do you want fans to know and what would you like them to do here as we sit the Monday before, we got 13 days before this thing kicks off?
Most people know how dramatic the change is with NIL and so name, image, and likeness, paying of players, revenue share. What does all that mean? All that means is Cougar Nation. We need Cougar Nation now more than ever before. We're so grateful for their contributions, their support, coming to games, buying tickets, watching the games. But I would just say to be relevant, and that's one thing Brian Santiago has said multiple times, we need to be and stay nationally relevant. We need to lift, build, and empower these student athletes. You don't do that with 2 pennies. No. You do it with a whole bunch of pennies. And so people have come, first of all, they bought tickets in basketball and football at an unprecedented rate.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The problems we have of fitting everyone in the Marriott Center, those are great problems.
Yeah.
We'll keep figuring those out and keep making things better for Cougar Nation. But we love and are grateful for all the help people are giving us. We're going to continue to need that. So if they want BYU to be sweet, we need their help for BYU to be sweet. And that's just how it is. And we're going to do everything we can. We're going to try and think critically. We're going to use wisdom. We're going to be appropriate and come up with ways and means to make it happen for our student athletes to fly. That's one thing Brian always says. I want these student athletes to fly. We want to help them fly.
Good answer. You didn't know we were going to come with that question. And
Bring it on, whatever you got. If I don't have a good answer, I'll go out the door.
Yeah, we realized, though, that when you came on before, I don't know why, you were back looking at it, right, Dave? Why we didn't do our normal 5 questions with you. We usually do 5 questions with all of our guests, and we never did the 5 questions. And this is what we do, where we just rapid fire.
Here's an answer before you even ask me. Who's my favorite soccer player at BYU? Avery Frischneck.
Okay, that's question 6.
That's 6.
That's
Question
number 6. That's number 6.
Who's your favorite women's basketball player?
Love them all. Let's go.
Yeah,
Is that one of the questions?
Denelia is on the stream from West Jordan.
Delaney is awesome.
Gerald's on the stream from Fresno. Now, everyone around the world is ready to hear 5 questions presented by Strategy Square. Learn how to boost your company's social media with Chantal, a BYU grad at strategysquare.co. So tonight, here we go. You ready?
Here we go.
Wait, I just need to say this. The reason I said that Avery's my favorite player before people get creeped out, my son Jeff, who's playing offensive right tackle on the football team as a return missionary freshman, is dating Avery.
Now it'll go. Hey, what is it with the Lewis? What is it with the Lewis family finding athletes to marry?
Very smart. I might have played football, but I am very smart.
I grew up with the Lewis boys. They're smart.
Yeah, they know what to do. So, okay.
Lucked out.
Here we go. Number 1, your favorite sports movie.
I'm going to Rudy because it was such a motivating time in my life, climbing the ladder as a freshman, sophomore.
Yeah.
The fact that this nobody was a walk-on, he earned something from his teammates. That is a powerful theme for me. I loved it, the way they did it, the whole thing. When I see it, I'm like, that's cool.
All right.
Dave and I got to interview like the real Rudy at Notre Dame.
Just before he joined the church.
Yeah, just before he joined the church. And he comes out, he's walking, and to our surprise, it gave me goosebumps. The people that were there recognized him, and they start going, Rudy, Rudy. And I was like, no, it's giving me the chills.
That's cool.
It was really cool. Okay, number 2, your favorite singer or band?
Great question. Definitely my favorite band is the big band, the Tabernacle Choir. I love the power of the hymns, the words of the hymns. I love how Mac Wilberg draws out the power of the music. So Greg Jefferson, we're flying with the Eagles, we're flying to a game, and he said, hey, Chad, do you ever listen to gospel music? I'm like, yeah. And I had Hymns of Faith. I think it was either one or just called Hymns of Faith. It was very dry compared to what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
So he said, well, can I listen to it? I'm like, sure. So I gave him my headphones, and he just shook his head at me like, like he wanted something a lot more.
Yeah.
But to me, I had just served a mission in Taiwan. I came to understand the power of the hymns. So to me, that's it.
So
I also
Motabs.
love, Simon and Garfunkel, U2. I'm eclectic. I have a, wide variety. I love them.
Yes, Simon and Garfunkel goes back a long time. Jack Johnson, man.
We've been doing this show for over 3 years.
Nobody
That's
said the
first Motab.
Yeah.
The Tabernacle
Motab's sweet.
Choir at Temple Square.
Yep.
Come thou fount of every blessing.
Yeah, so it's there.
Turn that
Yeah.
on 10 and I will run through or jump over anyone.
When I think of them, I don't necessarily think of a band, but they are what they are. They're awesome.
They
Seen them
are
live.
amazing.
I've seen them in concert, so I guess that means they're a band.
They play music.
Yeah, they play
sing.
music. They sing. Awesome.
They just wear conservative clothes. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3, your favorite breakfast cereal.
This thing, Morning Crunch or something. I can't remember what it is.
Morning
from Costco.
Crunch?
What is it? It's this.
Captain Crunch?
No, it's-
That's his, Captain
It's
Crunch.
so good. I wish I could remember the name of it.
What does it
Shell
have
buys
in it? Is it like a granola with
Kind
fruit?
of like granola and got some nuts. It's got everything in there.
Yeah, I just had some
Morning
of that.
Crunch? Is that it?
Morning Crunch.
Sounds like clean out the fridge
DJ,
crunch.
you're gonna have to help us out with this. DJ knows every cereal known to
I
man.
can't remember what it's
Our
called.
technical
but
director knows every cereal.
Something Morning Crunch.
It's so good.
So he'll come up with something for
Yeah,
us.
give me 100
Okay.
boxes.
So-
100
okay.
bucks is a morning crunch.
Our
Plus
we've had
anything with eggs. Like
we've had some crazy.
Okay.
Like Kaveh Hanoi comes in. He's like, I don't eat breakfast cereal. We're like, oh, come on. Like, what do you feed your kids? He goes, our kids don't eat breakfast cereal. They eat protein shakes. I was like, oh my gosh. He and Marissa are a little too dialed in, right? So we've had he's Captain Crunch. I'm Cinnamon Life.
What's up, Captain? My boys like Cinnamon Life.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. So
Captain's never
I
disappointed.
love America. Look what we get to have for breakfast.
yeah, whatever
That's
we
right.
want. So number 4, your favorite BYU memory.
When Lavelle Edwards called me into his office, training camp of my freshman year. My dad's already had a stroke. My family's finances are wiped out. I'm walking on. I went through spring ball. I'm going through training camp. And after practice, he said, I'd like to see Chad Lewis in my office after practice. And Coach Chow, as we're walking off the field, said, hey, bud, if this is what I think it is, you owe me a steak dinner. I was like, bro. I go in his office, and he just complimented me on my hard work. And he said, we're going to put you on full grant and aid.
Nice.
Yeah, that was it, huh?
The meaning of that money to me and to my family and what that meant in my pursuit to play football and the words coming out of Lavelle's mouth to me were a miracle. That he said, we're going to give you a scholarship. And then he said, I want you to keep working as hard as you are. I loved Lavelle. And that meant so much to me and to my family, to my present and to my future. That wasn't on the field, but it was the greatest moment in my BYU history.
It's a good moment.
Love that. Love it. Love it.
And then I said, well, I've already paid for my registration. What should I do about that? He's like, oh yeah, well, go get it reimbursed. I was like, oh, you
Nice.
gotta be kidding. I went up and I got my $1,300.
Yeah.
And I put it in the bank, and that's what I had to pay for Michelle's ring. I had cash. I saved it, and I was able to go get a ring. And greatest money ever spent in my life.
There you go. You locked it down
Thank
right
you,
there.
Lavelle.
Lavelle locked it down. I borrowed $1,000 from Kyle Morrell. I didn't even know where he got it.
It's better.
We won't even ask.
It's best that you
I
didn't.
don't even know where he got it, but I didn't want to know. And then I bought I put the down payment on Brenda's ring with borrowed money from Kyle Morrell, who gave me a 0 interest loan for 12 months. I don't know how he got it.
TR Play says Great Grains. Does that sound like your
No,
breakfast cereal?
it wasn't Great
Sorry,
Grains.
it's not Great Grains. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if it's
We'll
honey
continue
honey
to play
bunches of oats
Nope,
or
nope.
It's just
no,
a
it's some kind of a
montage
granola.
of stuff.
There was
I
somebody who was
love
talking.
honey bunches of oats.
Those are good. Yeah. So, wait. Oh, here we go. DJ comes through.
There's like every.
Like we were giving you a whole variety.
So
to pick
wait.
from.
If you're listening on the podcast, you can't see these, but there's a whole list
Like
of
DJ
those
just put up
different
1, 2, 3,
cereals.
4.
None of those.
None of these. He's got blueberry morning
All right,
crunch,
take
great
'em off.
grains.
Wait.
Oh,
Love
maybe
honey
this one?
bunches and oats. but
Honey
that's
bunches
not
of
it.
oats.
That's it.
Okay.
All right.
DJ, I don't know if you can do a better job than giving him that many options, and it wasn't.
Would
any
you
of them.
take a picture and we'll let
We'll
the
put it on-
audience
we'll let
know
audience
next week
know
that
that
we've
we-
identified this
Okay.
morning montage of
And-
delight that you.
Ingay Koilaba.
Yeah, there you go. So,
Yes.
and this one, last one's the most important one. You mentioned your dad had a stroke when you were in college, Roger. What's the favorite advice your dad ever gave you?
He just wanted me to treat people right. Here's one good piece of advice. We went on a camp out when I'm 13, 14 years old. We're hiking down Coyote Gulch, which feeds into Escalante Canyon that leads into Lake Powell. And there's a newer kid in our scout troop, and he was Hispanic, and I wasn't calling him his name. His name, I think, is Moroni. And after calling him not his name a couple times, my dad pulled me aside and was like, "It's not his name. What are you doing?" He just got after me and was like, "You got to treat people right." That was great. Another time, Mary Lou Nielsen, who I'm in her stake now, but when I was 13, 14, 15, we were swimming in a neighborhood that wasn't our neighborhood. It was a gated neighborhood. And she kicked us out because we weren't supposed to be in there. And when we left, I thought she was so sassy. I spit in her car. It was like a 280ZX right through the sunroof on the seat. Then we went to my friend Scott Wilkins' house, and we're sitting there. And a few minutes later, my parents showed up. Knock, knock, knock. My dad had a rag. He's like, "Go clean that up." It was the worst feeling ever. Drove over into the neighborhood, cleaned up her car, drove back home, sat on the couch right in front of my mom and dad. And my dad said, "If I'm going to get mad at you right now, the way that you got mad at her, I would be not serving you. I wouldn't be helping you." He just said, "You got to learn how to love people. You got to learn how to grow up." So instead of throwing me straight way out the window, cartwheeling down the neighborhood, he just showed a great deal of love. Mary Lou plays the organ in the 8th Ward in the Hillcrest Stake. I get to talk to her all the time. I love her. She's so cool about that whole thing. And she just realized, I was a young guy, that my frontal lobe was not quite formed in my brain. And I love that my dad was willing to just be a dad and teach me, stop acting like a little kid and grow up. Be nice to people, treat people right. Well, that made a difference through my football career.
Yeah. I remember when your dad looked at me with his big dark eyes and said, "Please don't come to Scouts anymore. You're driving me nuts." Now, he didn't say that, but I could see that he was thinking it.
You read that.
I could see that was coming through. As Roger Lewis put all of us boys in the 58th Ward through Boy Scouts.
He did a good job with that.
Yeah, he did. Patient man. Good man. How about Morning Summit from Costco?
That's what it is.
There you go. Michael,
Who got it?
congratulations.
Michael got it?
Yeah. Morning
Michael.
Summit.
Michael
and then Mark
Cavallino.
came in going, I was going to say Morning Summit.
Hey, look, everybody in
Yeah.
America, if you want to make breakfast great again,
Morning
yourself some
Summit
Morning
from
Summit.
Costco. There you go.
it's a big box. It's got a lot in there.
What I always end up doing
That's
is
cool.
whatever granola or whatever, I end up throwing a bunch of craisins in it and all kinds of stuff.
It's like that.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, without having to add stuff.
The great
So-
Chad Lewis on the show tonight. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, we
appreciate you.
go back to when we're little kids.
Yeah.
Same ward. Your dad was my bishop at one time. He died at 57 years old.
Yeah.
Way too young. And your brother-in-law just passed away,
57.
57 years old. Way
Yeah,
too young.
funeral
So I'm
today.
sorry about that.
Yeah, it's just a punch in the gut.
Shoot.
Life is, it never stops, right? It ends for some, but then the sun comes up and goes down. I remember the day after our dad's funeral, I was mad the sun came up because I just wanted everything to stop. And it just didn't, and you're driving down the street and the 4 cars next to you are hurrying into whatever. And they got no idea you're in the middle of your crisis. And I think it was President Eyring, I might get it wrong, who said, when you meet somebody, just assume that they're in a crisis, and 50% of the time you be right.
Yeah.
And but there are also moments like today, our gang, we're all together, and that's heaven on earth, even when we lose somebody, when we're together like that, and gives us motivation to live good enough so we can reunite with all those guys. But Todd, I'll say Todd was on my mission, and he came over to a district meeting in Copperas Cove, Texas, and he was fairly new, and I'd been out a little bit, and he came up on his bike. I wrote about it in the Deseret News, and I think he flashed me the U sign because he was from Bountiful and grew up that way, and he knew whose district he was coming to. But he converted, so that's a win for us. But he comes in, he sees a picture of my family and the 12 of us, right? And he sees a picture of Kip, and Kip, and he's just staring at her, and he goes, "Hey, can I write her?" And I'm like, "What for?" I'm just a stupid 19-year-old. And he goes, "Well, because she's cute." And I'm like, and I was in charge of the meeting. I'm like, "All right." I just scribbled the address and handed it to him and said, "Go for it." And 2 years later, they got married.
That's
and
cool.
A great family. And so, so things are tender, but just listening to you talking about your dad and the people around us, even going back to 30 minutes ago, we're talking about football and relationships, and I thought you nailed that on the head. That sports brings us together. Sometimes it brings families together to watch and talk and discuss, like everyone on the stream tonight. And sometimes it brings guys together, like you guys, to play, and develop those relationships. And where would we be? I think that men are that they might have joy. I think that involves football.
It's definitely part of football.
There's football in heaven. My dad said that. He also told me to treat people right, as did Dale McCann.
Yeah.
Totally. And Lavelle told us all to treat people right too.
That's right.
Benny. And Kalani teaches that all the time, right? That's a great thing. You treat people right.
Treat people right.
Yep.
I'll finish by saying the resurrection of Jesus Christ is real. We're going to see everybody again.
Yeah.
This world is not the end. And that pumps me up. Michelle's dad, Doug, has already passed away. I can't wait to see him. My grandparents, people through history.
You need to wait a little while to see him.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
My twins got in a bad accident yesterday morning.
Oh, man.
And the car was totaled. They were completely spared. We just think there were angels around them.
Yeah.
Saved them. Definitely on my mind right now. The thinness of the veil, the quickness of our mortal experience, and the fact that the resurrection is real. Everyone in the world needs to know that. I don't care what religion they're from. The resurrection is real. Let that just sink in as deep as it can go.
Well said. Chad Lewis on the Wise Guys. We love having you on. We look forward to having you on for years to come.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Yep, thanks.
And you also snuck in some Mandarin, so that was awesome.
Yeah, I believe it's the first Mandarin ever spoken on the Wise
We've
Guys.
had Tagalog, but I don't think we've had all of that.
What did that mean?
Now behold, a marvelous work is about to come forth among the children of men.
Wait, are you talking about football season in 2 weeks? Or
Let's go, bring it on.
I hope it applies
That's
to both.
part of building the kingdom.
I hope it applies to both the kingdom and this football season,
Same
what you
here.
just said. So
It's awesome. Thanks,
great.
Chad.
Thanks, Chad. Appreciate you being here, brother.
Thank you.
Chad Lewis on the Wise Guys and in the athletic department in the Hall of Fame and just phenomenal.
So fun.
Phenomenal stuff tonight.
So fun.
Let's do our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week. Speaking of phenomenal, it's presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. Tonight, Wise Guys proud to honor freshman volleyball star Suli Davis.
Yeah.
She is awesome.
She is legit. Let's talk about what she's done. So she's a 6'2" freshman from Euless, Texas, with a BYU pedigree. She's got a bunch of family. Her uncle Satema Nali played football at BYU. Her aunt is Sunny Mahe, who played volleyball. Sonny's married to Reno.
Yeah,
Mahe,
played
right?
football.
Who played football. Her aunt is Kalani Tonga, who played volleyball. At Colleyville High School, Suli was named Prep Volleyball Player of the Year in Texas and was an Under Armour All-American.
This summer, she played for the United States at the Under-19 World Championships in Croatia. The U.S. finished second. Suli was named the tournament's best outside hitter. That involved all the teams.
Yeah.
Best outside hitter. And when the Big 12 preseason awards were announced, not only was BYU picked to finish first, but Davis was named the Big 12 preseason Freshman of the Year.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like every sport has a phenomenal freshman and a big-time recruit. And this is no exception. She'll make her BYU debut on Saturday in an exhibition game against Idaho State up in Ogden, Utah, which they're playing at Ogden High, which is kind of interesting. Old
Chance
school,
for everyone to get over there.
high school.
See the team. Yeah. Suli Davis is our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week, presented by Redmond. The secret is in the salt. Learn what it can do for you at redmond.com. And Suli's going to join the Wise Guys next month.
Yes.
Her head coach, Heather Olmstead, is going to be on the show next week ahead of the season opener.
Yeah, she's always great to talk to.
And she's so fun and humble and talented, and she'll be great on this show. And she's going to be phenomenal at BYU.
It's going to be really good to have her there. I got to spend a little more time than I ever had before with Heather Olmstead on the cruise, and she's awesome. Like, I love Heather Olmstead, and we know she's awesome as a coach, but as a person, like, I was really, really impressed with being able to spend more time with her. So that'll be fun to have her on as well.
Here comes 10 minutes of glorious news and information. Let's start with Cougars in the NFL. By the way, the final rosters are coming up on August 26th.
Yeah.
That's the day you find out you're in the show or you're not in the show.
And it's a weird thing because it used to be, remember how they used to do, hey, we're going to cut 10 and now we're going to cut 20 and it would get down to the final cuts. Now they just keep everybody and they just cut them all at the same time.
Yeah.
So you don't know.
I kind of like it this way. I mean, maybe it's less maddening for the player to just go, oh, I made it this week. Am I going to make it in 2 more days? Or am I going to make it in 3 more days? Maybe you just go on the 26th, you're either in or you're out. I don't know.
The thing that makes it a little bit harder is kind of the borderline players where they'd come down. Now they're just all cut at the same time. Back in the old days, you might get cut from a team that was really deep at wide receiver and be a wide receiver, and then somebody that wasn't deep would go, well, I'm going to pick them off the waiver wire right now because we need a wide receiver. We don't have the receivers the Niners have. And you'd get picked up during camp and still have a shot. So now you kind of get cut and you get signed to a practice squad or you don't. And it's a little tougher now.
So these are big games this week. This is the last preseason game for everybody who's trying to make the team. And some of the Cougars, of course, have made the team. In fact, they might not even show up in the preseason at all.
Right.
But let's run them down and start on Thursday. There's two Cougars in action on Thursday.
Right. Let's start with the Steelers at the Panthers. Brady Christensen, of course, with the Panthers. That's 5 p.m. on the NFL Network.
And then Kyrus Tong and the Patriots at the Giants at 6 o'clock, and that's on Prime. That's on Thursday night.
Yeah. Let's move to Friday. The Vikings, Tyler Batty, who's had a really good fall camp. They'll be at the Titans on Friday.
He's got a shot at making that team.
Yeah, he does.
The Falcons with Tyler Algier. The 2 running backs haven't even played yet. I don't even know if they're going to mess around. But they got the Cowboys at 6 o'clock Friday night on NFL Network.
Yeah, Tyler's pretty much established, so they don't need to play him preseason. The Bears are at the Chiefs, and, of course, the Chiefs, Andy Reid. And then Kingsley Suamataia still with the Chiefs. I
saw him on the field the other day. What do we got to do to get Algier and Taysom Hill on the Chiefs?
That would be really fun. No. And there's a chance. There's a chance Taysom could, but
I think he's got to get cut, and then he's going if he gets cut.
I think Kellen Moore likes him too much to let him go to the Chiefs.
And the Saints like selling that number 7 jersey.
Yeah, they do.
On Saturday, a bunch of games. Kyle Van Noy and the Ravens are at the Commanders.
The timeless person, Kyle Van Noy. He just keeps getting better. The Colts and Blake Freeland are at the Bengals, and Ryan Rico and Caleb Etienne.
I saw Rico's punting stats the other night. Phenomenal.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
Dude's doing great. Yep. Puka Nacua and the Rams are at the Browns. That's at 11 in the morning on Saturday on NFL Network. So if he's going to get some catches in the preseason, that will come probably in the first quarter on Saturday.
Yeah. The Broncos are at the Saints. Taysom Hill won't be playing. Yeah, no. He's not ready to play yet.
I'm really curious to see if he can. When he can get back and what he can do.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a major surgery, and certainly not. They never play him in a preseason game anyhow.
The Texans are at the Lions with Keaton Slovis.
We should start, Dave, when we say the Saints, talking about Kellen Moore because he is married to a BYU grad.
Okay, we'll throw his name in there. Yeah,
because his wife Julie is BYU grad. So
that ties him.
Can we count him?
Yeah, I think we can.
So he's also a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
We're pretty loose here. I think we can do that.
So sorry, Texas, you were going with.
So Keaton Slovis is third-string quarterback. Not sure what's going to happen with him, but he's playing for the Texans against the Lions on Saturday.
The Seahawks are at the Packers. The Packers have Chris Brooks, Zane Anderson both playing with them right now. That's 2 o'clock on the NFL Network.
Jaguars are at the Dolphins. Zach Wilson. That's at 5 o'clock Mountain Time on NFL Network. And Zach looked pretty good the other day.
Yeah, he looked really good.
Yeah.
And then to finish up Saturday's schedule, the Chargers are at the Niners. Fred Warner, who still probably won't play very much. And then Jacob Robinson, he's had a lot of press coming out of fall camp with how well he's played.
Wouldn't it be awesome
He's been running with the twos.
if he can make that team?
Yeah, so cool to have 2 guys on that defense.
Campus notes, men's hoops. BYU is going to face Miami on the first day of the ESPN Events Invitational in Orlando at 3 in the afternoon Mountain Time on Thanksgiving Day on ESPN. So the reason we tell you now is because everyone likes to plan their day around their dinner, and we've already decided we're going to move ours up. Because at 3 o'clock, and you got the Cowboys and Chiefs, and somehow you're going to have to manage that. But the Cougars are playing on ESPN right in the heart of Thanksgiving Day.
Three's kind of the go-to time, I think.
Yeah,
right?
that's going to be good. Georgetown and Dayton follow that game on ESPN2, and then BYU will play one of those two the next day. But, hey, you know what's never been a thing on ESPN in the middle of Thanksgiving Day is BYU basketball. They played some at night, on ESPN2 or ESPN, but hey, this is when all of America's sitting home looking for sports to watch.
Right.
So that's an opportunity.
Head coach Kevin Young last week, you were able to go to that media lunch with him.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't able to make that one, but he said that A.J. DeBansa does something in practice every day that blows his mind. He said he's the most focused young player he's ever seen. And he's seen some young guys come into the league. Something at practice every day that blows his mind.
Hey, that's got us looking forward to opening night.
Yeah.
Soccer beat number 24 Minnesota last week in the opener 3-1. Mia Lopez, Mia Getchi, and Sophie Savolovic all scored, and that got them 3. They're at Cal Poly tonight. The last we saw, they were down early 1-0. That's the ultimate trap game. We'll see if we can get you posted on a score. In fact, if you know the score, let us know on the stream and we'll share it. UCLA is here on Saturday. They're ranked number 8. The new coaches poll comes out tomorrow. If BYU can win tonight, they could be in the top 25 when the Bruins come on Saturday in the home opener, 7 o'clock on ESPN Plus at Southfield. That's like you can't ask for a bigger home opener than UCLA, ranked in the top 10, and BYU played really good last week. We'll see what they do tonight. But chance to get UCLA on Saturday.
That'd be really fun. Women's volleyball, national ranking of number 19. And the Big 12 preseason poll, they're number 1. BYU's at Idaho State Saturday at 3 o'clock in an exhibition game. Not at Idaho, it's versus Idaho State because it's really a neutral.
Right.
It's playing at Ogden High School. Fairleigh Dickinson's at BYU on Friday, August 29th. That's the season opener. It's at noon. And then Central Michigan at BYU Friday, August 29th at 7 p.m. So it's a double header August 29th with Fairleigh Dickinson at BYU and then Central Michigan. And by the way, we mentioned this, but Heather Olmstead is going to come on the show next week with us, the head coach.
1-1 now. BYU has tied it with Cal Poly. That's got to be late in the second half, but it is now a 1-1 game on the road for BYU soccer. Baseball news, former Cougar Wally Joyner will be inducted into the Utah Sports Hall of Fame on September 22nd. Joyner started at BYU in the early 80s and then played 16 years in the major leagues. And you can see our Wise Guys interview with Wally at wiseguys.com. Congratulations, heading to the Utah Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah, way to go, Wally. Cross country, the Autumn Classic is Friday, September 6th in Orem. That's the season opener. So the Autumn Classic. Let's remember that both the men's and women's teams, they're defending national champs. You ever said that in men's and women's sports? And
It's so good.
it's so awesome. Preseason polls will be out next Monday. Will they both be preseason number 1, do you think?
I would think they would be.
I would think they would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Women's coach Diljit Taylor joins the Wise Guys on September 1st.
Someone came up to me and said, the thing that they really like about Wise Guys is we get all the guests.
Yeah.
We get good guests.
Yeah.
And have Coach Taylor back on before they start anew. And you know what we're going to ask her is BYU takes a 2-1 lead on Cal Poly as they get ready for UCLA on Saturday. That's awesome.
Are we establishing that BYU soccer is the second half team here in the first 2 games?
They seem to be. They seem to be. It'll be interesting to see when those polls come out. And one question we're going to ask Diljeet Taylor is, okay, so here comes Jane Hedegren, #1 runner in the country. She's joining a team that just won the national championship, and a lot of those runners are back. So how do you do that?
How do you find room for her? Well, they'll find room for her, believe me.
And then how many, and we'll ask her, and you probably know on the stream, but you can only send a certain number, right, to meet. And they've got a full roster, and, the best go run like they did last year. And, in a lot of ways, the best are already here. And so I just think that's an interesting dynamic. It's not like AJ showed up as the best player and is the best player. Jane shows up having rewritten all these high school record books, but joins a team that just won the national championship. That dynamic is
wild.
It's got my head
She
spinning.
can help us to feel. It'll make everybody will be better with her coming. They'll all push each other, and I think you run more. I'm trying to remember how this works in cross country. You run more runners than actually count, and the certain number count, right?
Yeah.
So
Ellie Walbrook got 2 goals late in the first half, so it's 2-1 at halftime BYU. And Ellie, of course, was our Re-Lyte.
It's only the first half. There you go.
Yeah, I thought it was later, but Ellie was our Re-Lyte Athlete Player of the Week last week, and now she's come back with 2 goals in the first half.
Okay, this now, because BYU is a second half team, they could end up winning 5-1.
Let's hope so. Maybe it just took them a while. Here's some golf news. Incoming freshman Kihei Akina won the Larry H. Miller Utah Open over the weekend over at Riverside Country Club here in Provo. Youngest winner in the 99-year history of the tournament. He finished 17 under, won by 2 shots, and you can see our interview with him at wiseguys.com. Congratulations. I'm telling you, he's the deal. The Jane, the AJ, the writer. He's that.
He's Davis. He's
of golf.
Yeah, it's every sport has a marquee freshman or recruit that's in the program right now. That's unprecedented, and he is phenomenal. He's got the chance to be one of the greatest players ever, but he's to continue to get to better. The greatest that ever played at BYU. Well, there's been some really, really good ones.
Yeah, we're living the dream.
Yeah,
we're heading
fun.
into a sports year that, and one of the things we're excited about the Wise Guys and our sponsors as well is we're heading into a place that we've never been. And I don't know what's going to happen. That's why we're going to watch. But the football team, the basketball, where they're going, all these other sports, it's about as good as they've been.
So fun.
So it's fun. It'll be fun to have Diljeet Taylor on the show in 2 weeks.
You know what? Football starts in 13 days.
I know. You know how long we've been talking about it, and now it's here? I just love the fact that when we get up on Saturday, there's games.
So fun. Football season, and I love all of the other sports that are in the fall as well, but just there's something about football in the fall that's special.
Yeah, and it was smoking hot today, but it's still the fall.
Yeah.
Even the heat can't stop
It was 96.
On this day, on August 18th, let's roll out of here in style, and let's go back to 1201. Riga, Latvia is founded. Now, that's 575 years before the United States was founded. A lot of times we think we've been around a while, and then as we get out of the country, we realize they've been around a lot longer than us. And sometimes they don't like that because we act like we've been around as long as them, and they're like, you guys are the new kids on the block.
Whenever we go to Europe, we wander around towns and we go, oh, this church was built in 1200. This was in 1400. And we're thinking, yeah, there was nothing over here until the 1700s.
Yeah. So we're the new kids. We're still.
1926, the first televised weather map appeared.
Now think about that. What we stare at more televised weather maps now.
Yeah.
Than and there's channels that are devoted to weather maps.
This summer though, it's just been 95 and hot.
I know.
I was complaining the other day, and Brandon said, "Well, it's 107 in Phoenix." And it's 105 in Vegas. And I said,
I don't like that.
That doesn't make me feel any better than it's 96 right here. I don't care what it is down there. I still hate it at 96 here.
Exactly. Those words could be worse. Oh, I got a cough. Well, it could be the flu.
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
Well, it's 117.
Suddenly,
It's 117
fantastic.
in Death Valley. Oh, you know what? That makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah. 1956 on this day, Elvis Presley's Hound Dog hits number 1 on the music charts.
Wow, you ain't nothing but a hound dog.
There you go. I was queuing you up.
Yep, you got me. Thank you. 1981. I remember this, man.
This is interesting.
Georgia running back Herschel Walker, he takes out a $1 million insurance policy from Lloyd's of London prior to the 1981 season. The Bulldog season opener was against Steve Young and BYU. And they needed a field goal against us in that game to win that game 17-14. They kicked a field goal late. I remember that Herschel got the ball on a 4th and 7. And I was thinking, they've got to throw the ball. We've got him right where we want him. And they handed it to Herschel. He ran into the line of scrimmage. It seemed like everything stopped, and then the whole pile went 9 yards for a first down.
Yeah, that was tough. Yeah. That was an interesting development because that was at the time that was, $1 million. The only person would get that kind of thing. I think Mary Hart had $1 million on her legs from Entertainment Tonight. Right. But here's this college kid. I don't even think we knew it was legal. Now it is.
Well, now if you want a kid to come back when he's eligible to go to the pros, and you have to have some kind of insurance policy, why would he not just go?
Exactly. On this day in 1988, the largest house on Long Island sold for $22 million. It had 130 rooms.
22 million in 88, huh?
130 rooms.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's a lot.
In 2016, Usain Bolt wins the gold medal in the 200 meters for the 3rd consecutive Summer Olympics.
Now that's something. There's 4 years, and then there's 4 years, and there's 4 years, and he won.
That's
gold in all 3.
Yeah, it's wild.
August 18th birthday is born on this day in 1774, Meriwether Lewis, an explorer who hung out with Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark. There you go. 1930, Gene Bartow, the basketball coach that succeeded John Wooden at UCLA.
How would you like to be that guy?
You never want to be the guy that follows the legend.
Yeah, the wizard. Hey, by the way, you're replacing the wizard.
You want to be the guy that follows the guy that followed the legend. That's
you wanted
the best
to be
job.
Bronco,
Yeah.
who followed Gary, who followed Lavelle.
Andy Reid said that to me way back then. He said, you don't want to be the guy that follows the legend. You want to be the guy that follows the guy that follows the legend.
Because more times than not, this could be a short career.
Who wants to be the guy that follows Andy Reid at the Chiefs? No, you don't want to be that guy. You want to be the guy that follows that guy.
Yeah.
So,
1934, Roberto Clemente, Hall of Fame outfielder, was born on this day.
Yeah, that's right. 1936, Robert Redford, the actor with Utah ties.
Did you like... The Natural, he was really good at.
Good.
What do you think was his best movie? I mean, he's been in a lot of them.
I like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid because I'm old school.
Yeah, that's good.
I loved his character in that. I love Butch. I love Paul Newman who plays Butch in that one.
I still think The Natural might be his best.
That's
work.
probably his best work, but I love that movie, Butch Cassidy. And by the way, Michael's like, I can't see the whole thing. He's correcting me. He says that I can't say. You have to read that for me.
He says, Blaine, you can't say there wasn't anything here before Columbus. More archaeology that's done in the U.S., the more we realize that civilization's been here for a long time. Well, we all have the Book of Mormon, so we get that.
But here's the thing, Michael.
But there weren't any 7-Elevens.
But here's the thing, Michael. You have to dig it up here to find it. I can walk down a street in Spain,
and it's just right there.
That's there. That's been there since then. That's what I'm talking about. But
Michael, go with the spirit of the comments.
No, Michael, it's noted. It's noted. So,
and then he comes back with The Horse Whisperer. Now, I never saw that movie, The Horse Whisperer.
Yeah, I've seen the movie. It was pretty. He's been good. What's the one where he's kind of the diabolical guy? Iron Man. Isn't he an Iron Man?
He showed up in the Avengers.
Yeah, in the Avengers. He
as some government guy.
Yeah. He's been in a lot of good movies.
All right, 1952 on this day, Patrick Swayze, an actor, was born.
He was in some good movies too.
Yeah.
1993, Cameron Smith, the golfer who just won the 2022 British Open.
And on this day, and a date that will remain unannounced, Diane McCann was born.
Let me do the math here. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
I got to go home to her, so I thought I'd just leave unannounced on the date.
Yeah.
We weren't born yesterday, but she was born on this day, many yesterdays ago.
Yeah.
August 18th, those who passed on this day. Let's go to 1227.
Yeah, Genghis Khan. They founded the Mongolian Empire.
Yeah.
I mean, who could forget the Mongolian Empire?
Who could forget Genghis Khan? 1940, Walter Chrysler, automotive pioneer. He had his own empire with cars.
And 2024, Phil Donahue passed away this last year.
Back in the day when he was on, he was nuts. But compared to the people that are on today, he was just a mellow dude.
Hey, Larry Wynn says Spy Game's the best movie that Robert Redford's been in. That was a good one too.
Spy Game?
Yeah.
Okay. Sneakers.
So
was a fun film with him. I didn't see Sneakers. Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, did you see Henry answer the question? Of course, Henry Marsh is going to answer the question about it. He says the top 7 go.
Oh, thanks, Henry. Yeah.
And Jane will be in that group, and then they count 5.
They count 5.
So you can run 7, and then your top 5 count. Henry Marsh coming through.
We love it when one of the greatest runners in the history of the program watches
the program.
Wise Guys.
How about in the history of track and field?
Yeah, let's go
Like
there.
one of the greatest steeplechasers in history, period. Let's just end it right there.
Sylvia says, is Richie Saunders coming on Wise Guys? We're efforting. So we're very optimistic about that. We'll
By
keep
the
you
way,
posted.
I was talking to some spouses of football players, and you and I need to talk about this. I'm going to kind of throw it out here, and you can tell me if you think it's a terrible idea, or the audience can tell me what they think. Our people in the chat. I was talking to 5 spouses of our current football players, some of them big time stars, and they all said they want to come on together onto the show and talk about what it's like to be a wife of a football player in season. And I said, we're not supposed to bring football players on in season, but we could certainly bring some spouses of football players to talk with.
There's no rule for that. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So I told
think
him
we should.
I told him I'd mention it to you this week. Now I mentioned it to everybody. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, let's do that. That'd be awesome. Our Wise Guys inspirational quote of the week comes from Roberto Clemente, who, as we mentioned, was born on this day in 1934, who said,
"Why does everyone talk about the past? All that counts is tomorrow's game."
there's a lot of truth to that. All that matters is it's important what you do in the past, but what really matters is what you're about to do.
What you got tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, or tomorrow's game. Looking forward. You got to learn from the past, though. But then you got to put it behind you and go.
Yeah.
What does Kevin Young always say? We're just stacking practices.
Stacking days.
Just stacking days. Kalani says the same thing. Just, hey, yesterday's practice is done. Scrimmage Saturdays is done. What are we doing today? So
Steven says Jeremiah Johnson for Robert Redford.
Oh, that was a good one too.
That was a good one.
Linda Murray says that would be a fun show. Let's bring the wives
let's do
of football guys on.
We love doing whatever we want on this show for everyone on our stream and on our podcast.
Yeah. Sione Moa just got married, and his wife says, "I'll come on." She's brand new, newlywed. What's it like to be a newlywed? You get married right before fall camp.
Yeah, she might be mad at him.
Yeah, we just saw him together the other night too. And Sione didn't know she had volunteered to come on the show, and I said, "Hey, Sione, she wants to come on the show." He was like, "Okay."
Yeah, let's do that. That's must-see stuff. Next week, Greg Wrubell, play-by-play announcer, will be with us, and women's volleyball head coach Heather Olmstead. Special thanks to Brandon Doman and Chad Lewis. Both were phenomenal tonight. We encourage you to go back and watch again on our YouTube channel, wiseguys.com. Great stuff about sports and about life and about who they are. They were awesome.
Where can people find us? Well, tomorrow they can find us on AFR. We're doing player profiles.
It's going to be an awesome show.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one.
5 Mountain. It hits the BYU TV app. You can watch it then or anytime you want after that.
I'll be on the Deseret News all week, but if you're at Wrigley Field on Wednesday and Thursday, come up and say hello.
Yeah, you're going to be there.
I'm going back there to try and straighten the Cubs out before it's too late.
Oh, man. Okay.
They're playing the Brewers, so Andrew and I are heading out for a couple of games. So if you see us at Wrigley Field, come up and say hi.
That's one of my favorite places to watch a baseball game. The first one I ever watched there was because you got me tickets.
Well, I hope they won.
Yeah, no, they did win. We were sitting on the third baseline. They won.
That's good.
It was fun.
It's so much better when they win.
I love Wrigley, but I'm going to have to say I like Fenway better.
Come on. That's crazy talk.
Okay, Wise Guys. Let's remind everybody out here. Presented by Brady Plus. Supplies plus support. Find out more at bradyplus.com.
By Eddie, HR and payroll software built for small businesses. See how Eddie can serve your team at eddie.com.
And by Mountain America Credit Union, empowering dreams for over 80 years. Find out what they can do for you at macu.com.
Our Re-Lyte Athlete of the Week was Suli Davis, presented by Redmond. The secret's in the salt. Find out what that salt can do for you. And apparently it can do a lot at redmond.com.
Wise Guys is distributed by the Deseret News.
We'll see you tomorrow on AFR and next Monday as we kick off game week on Wise Guys, where the world is our audience. I think that should be our new thing, where the world is our audience. You know, the world's our campus, but here on the Wise Guys, the world is our...
Because BYU is a global family out there, and we love being part of it.
And we've seen it again tonight with you folks on the stream from all over the planet. So thank you very much. Have a great week, and we will see you tomorrow on AFR. Looking forward to it.